Welcome, everybody, to the Shake
Hey,
Mouth Lounge. No topics. Addy said, hey. That's Addy. Yep, that's right. There's also a pink here.
Hey there.
I'm Alex. Soon is not here because he is in.
yet.
Yeah, he's dead. We had to
He's indisposed of at the moment.
we had to kill him after last podcast. We had no choice. So
It was for the betterment of humankind.
all right. This is episode 107, correct?
I'm checking right now. Give me a sec. YouTube takes a while to freaking switch users.
It's been a minute since we got a episode with topics, so I haven't been keeping that much
Yes,
track.
it's 107.
Yes, it is. Okay.
I think we've gone like every week since episode 100 without topics.
Oh, we had a couple episodes. It's honestly better without topics, though. I think we work better without it. And I mean, a lot of the news topics of each given week are like, who even cares?
Right.
The TGAs happened and nothing happened. Like, that was last week where we struggled to be like, well, the TGAs were a big thing in 2018.
And then they weren't a thing. So, whoops.
Ghost of Tsushima has a release window. That's pretty much it.
Yup.
Which, I mean, hey, progress. It's coming out this year at least. Or not this year, but this coming year.
Yeah.
Until it gets delayed.
At least we know it's freaking summer, and that's it. That's all we know.
Oh, man. So, me and Addy have been talking Street Fighter V Champion Edition for... Well, I think we started talking it last night, because you just recently got it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, Champion Edition... V-Skill 2, I was worried that they would be underwhelming, but the V-Skill 2s are actually really good, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like, there are several characters where I never really thought about it, but their V-Skill 1 isn't that good. What is Colleen's V-Skill 1? What does it do?
I haven't played Colleen.
Oh.
So
Yeah, she's probably not your kind of character. She's just all really good buttons for neutral.
yeah. She looked like your character, and I'm already playing Gil, so whatever.
Yeah. Right, so they did add Gil, and what you said is he's all about lariats, right?
Yes. Well, at least at my level, but yes. Like otherwise, he's all about those third strike combos, from what I can tell.
Oh.
But at my level, it's all about chaining the elements. By which I mean, like, after certain attacks, the enemy gets a hue, I guess is the best way to put it, and they're affected by either fire or ice, depending on their color. And if you attack them with the other element, then you can get better combos.
Huh, okay.
But with how I play Gil, and with how I'm not really good with him, most of my gameplay has been lariats, because lariats are the best way to get in there. Like, right, so far I've found out that you can freaking do the bless you.
Gazoot.
So far I've found out that you can chain the ice balls in a way that you can hit them with a lariat before the ice ball hits, and then hit them with the ice ball while the lariat is hitting,
Ooh, okay.
which is freaking insane.
It sounds like, yeah. I was actually really curious how it would work out. Because Urian's already in the game. And Urian was pretty much entirely developed just to be a playable Gil.
Yeah. Another big difference between Urian and Gil is that Urian is still a charge character. Gil is not. Gil is a motion character.
Oh, yep, that is a big difference. Also,
Like,
I guess
yeah?
Gil doesn't have Aegis Reflector, so now he's inferior.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Another thing that I wanted to point out is that they gave Gil a Pyro costume from Darkstalkers. They
Yeah?
should have given it to Guile.
Why is that?
Because Pyro, from what I remember, used Guile as a basis for his sprite.
Ha! Oh, you're right! He does look... I always thought, like, who the fuck does Pyron remind me of? He does just have fucking Guile's sprite from SF2. You're right. Oh, God. It was always, like, something I questioned. And now I have my answer.
Yeah. So I think they messed up on that one. Like I get why they did it. I understand why they did it, but I feel like it would have been a better callback if they gave it to Guile.
Yeah, it would have been neat, but at the same time, they don't like have many character similarities.
Yeah. Also, the freaking that costume will be banned immediately.
Does it cause the frame rate to drop?
No, but it does obscure moves
Oh,
because
good.
it has like freaking screen changing properties or whatever. I'm not sure how to convey what it is, but like you know how screens wobble when there's like freaking fire and shit like that. Yes, that he does that a lot.
Okay. Interesting. Now, one thing I want to know about Gil, actually, real quick, is that in Third Strike, Gil's major mechanic was that he would switch between fire and ice depending on which side of the screen he was on, whether he was on player 1 or player 2 side.
Yes.
That's still a mechanic?
No.
Oh.
They changed that, so now Gil is always facing away from the camera, and you choose which element to do by your input. So forward Hadouken's forward motions are usually fire, backwards motions are usually ice.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's like you can choose between a cryo ball and a pyro ball by doing either forwards or backwards Hadouken and shit like that.
Okay, I see. Huh, that's actually pretty interesting. But if he can use either element from either side, then why does he face back towards the camera?
I don't freaking know. I think it's just a stylistic choice.
Just so he doesn't look like fucking, just so he isn't identical to Urien?
I guess so, yeah.
Alright. Now, my understanding of one thing is that you're not very fond of SF5 Akuma.
Yeah.
Which is
I think they gave him the short end of the stick.
which is crazy to me because the thing you always want with Akuma is the overhead thing, which is SF5 is the one that finally gave him it.
Yes, but I don't like where it is.
Well, it's just on forward hard punch, right?
Yes, that's my issue. I think Akuma had a pretty alright forward hard punch on, I mean, SF4, and I would have liked the overhead attack to be coming out of Demon Flip, because Demon Flip Demon Flip doesn't have a lot of things to do out of it. Like it's not like it. There could be more mix-ups, is what I'm getting at. Because like you can do a neutral Demon Flip and just freaking kick people or in the shin. You can do the grab, or you can kick out of it, and that's it. And so if they could have added it to punch, and that would have been another way to do basically to do the kick, but with less of a like less of an arc, but also less of a startup.
To me, that just sounds like a better button than the kick. In which case, the kick is pointless.
Well, it could be a better button than the kick, but the difference is that sometimes you want to go for the arc. Like that's the thing, is that the kick takes you some distance before you get down. Whereas the overhead attack wouldn't. It would whenever you press it is where you land.
Okay, I get it. I mean, other than that, like, your main beef with Akuma and SF5, though, is just simply that he's been nerfed quite a bit, right?
He's not
But it's-
overpowered.
And it's not just that he's been nerfed, because that's whatever. It's just that I don't like a lot of the changes they made to his moves. Like I don't like how they gave him the rising Tatsu, but then they also gave it to Ken. So
I mean, he still has his regular Tatsu.
Yes, but it's not. It doesn't. It doesn't travel as far.
No, it doesn't. Well, he's got 2 of his regular
Yeah.
Tatsu. I just picked him in training mode just to actually play him while we're talking about him.
He has this light, which I don't use, basically, and then I
Why?
usually use. Yeah.
Why not use his light? It combos into Shoryu.
Yeah, I like doing my own combos. I like figuring shit out.
I mean,
And
you
that
can,
that's
but
just the basic one.
it's like Akuma's most obvious combo tool is light Tatsu into Shoryu. That's what he does in every game. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like, other than that, like,
Yeah.
could you put it more into words? Like, what you have you got any more like sufficient ways to explain what you issues you have with him?
Well, I think that the changes to his normals aren't like. It just goes back to the freaking overrated thing, but I think it's out of place as a normal. Really, like I don't think it fits as a normal tool.
I mean, it is
And
oddly
so yeah,
special. Like, yeah. You know what the weird thing is?
yeah.
It doesn't hit overhead. It hits high.
Boy,
His forward medium punch is his overhead. The overhead chop. This thing.
yeah,
This is a weird move. This is a weird fucking move.
yeah. See, like I would have been fine with it if it was coming out of Demon Flip because yeah, Demon Flip, but. Like as a normal, it just feels out of place. There's no real way to use it in a combo, from what I can tell, at least at my level.
Yeah.
And really, it's just really not
Oh, that's what it's supposed to be used for.
what
It's an OTG,
ah.
and it combos.
All right,
So just throw it on the end of all your close range combos. Okay, that makes sense.
so that's let's see what else. Well, what I dislike how they moved one half of Tashura Senku, but that's just freaking that's just travels all.
Uh, yeah, it's an odd choice for Street Fighter V because Street Fighter V already tries to discourage turtling anyways. I mean, how many characters at Street Fighter V's launch had a V skill that was entirely devoted to stopping zoning?
Yes.
Like, hang on, let me check the fucking launch roster. Hang on.
Well, let me think. Bison, Ryu,
Nash,
Nash, yeah.
Zangief. Oh fuck. Chun-Li's goes over projectiles.
I guess that counts.
I think Guile's also crushes projectiles.
Oh,
Laura's might go over projectiles, but even if it doesn't, she has the electric shield. Cammy's goes through projectiles.
well, it is a freaking dodge. So yes.
Dulcim can use it to fly over projectiles. Nikali uses it to counter projectiles. I don't.
So I was right. Basically.
Vega's also goes through projectiles. It's easier to count the ones that aren't anti-projectile.
Yeah.
Like Karin 1, Rashid 2, Mika 3, Ken 4, Birdie 5, Fong 6. Okay, that's 6 out of 16 characters, right?
Yeah.
The other 10 are anti-zoners. I guess they saw what was going on with Injustice 1, and they were like, nope, none of that. Fuck that. It kind of kept going. A lot of the Street Fighter 5 DLC characters have it too.
Zaku.
Yeah, Zeku. Fucking Abigail gets a parry for some reason. Why did Abigail get given a parry? Out of all people.
Obviously, he was in Third Strike.
I guess he's just supposed to be discount Hugo.
I guess.
I I like Abigail, but Abigail is not Hugo. He's a very different character. I'm happy with the way the position Street Fighter V is in right now. At this point, it's now a decent fighting game with a lot more of a diverse roster with some really interesting weirdos on the roster, which I think is kind of where you want fighting games to be. You know.
Alright, actually, you know what? You wanna know what the freaking weirdest thing they have done with Ashura Senku is?
Ashura Senku is Akuma's move where he glides through things, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Evil Ryu, Kage, that's his V skill.
That makes sense. That was always Evil Ryu's major difference from regular Ryu. Well, that and having the Raging Demon.
Actually, let me think. I think it's a V skill, but it might actually be his V trigger.
That would also make sense. I need to get Championship Edition.
I feel like it's being a V trigger. If it is that, then that's lame. Cause Ashura, I love Ashura Senku, but it's not a freaking like super special awesome move. It's movement. It's getting in close without getting hit.
Well, I'd have a question of is Kage a more defensive character than Akuma? Because I have to assume him being Evil Ryu, he's more aggressive than Ryu, but less aggressive than Akuma, right?
I actually think he might be closer to Oni.
Oh.
Is what I've heard about him.
Oni kind of struck me as a more defensive Akuma anyways.
Nah, dude. Oni had so many get on your ass moves.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't put much time in with Oni.
Just his cross strike.
I think giving that as a proper get in for Kage makes sense. Particularly having his V trigger be a get even more aggressive kind of thing. Some of the characters just get underwhelming V triggers though, and that's just how it is. I mean,
that's true, yeah.
What do Akuma's V triggers even do other than let him do with the Raging Demon?
The first one makes it so he plays like Akuma, like real Akuma. The second one gives him a glowing eye.
Right.
I have yet to figure out what the second V trigger actually does.
You haven't.
Aside from that,
I mean, you can just go to the demonstrations. I'll go to the demonstrations and check. But Chun-Li, what the fuck does Chun-Li's V trigger do? Doesn't it give her better chip damage and that's all?
I don't know.
That's the kind of thing that got put on a taunt in Street Fighter 3.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 4 was very clearly trying to be the fucking comeback for Street Fighter 2 Super Turbo. I don't know what game Street Fighter 5 is trying to imitate. To its credit,
the new generation.
Yeah, baby.
It might just be trying to do its own thing. Alright, hang on. I've opened up demonstration. I'm gonna look for Akuma if I can find him.
Its own thing. Come on now. There's no such thing as its own thing nowadays.
No, especially not with a legacy-defined series like Street Fighter. Even half the fucking new characters are blatantly oh, hey, here's Minot. She's totally not Rose. Here's Abigail. He's totally not Hugo. Here's Ed. He's totally not Balrog, Bison's bizarre love child.
Actually, Ed is actually really good once you get into the freaking rhythm with him. Because the thing is, you just have to turn off motions.
Yep, that's part of what I have issue with that is that that's turning off a part of my brain in fighting games, you know?
Yeah. To me, I can live with it, but that's just because basically I'm worrying more about being able to charge his freaking heavy attack than doing a Hadouken motion to actually do the Hadouken. So I still do it though. It's just supposed to be forward mid, but doesn't matter to me.
Okay, looking at Akuma, Akuma's V Trigger 2 allows him to cancel any heavy move and any special move into EX special moves.
Ah, that's useless.
Well, the crazy thing is he can use that to cancel an Shoryuken or a Tatsu into the fucking air Hados and do big air combos.
That could work, but I also feel like freaking meter doesn't build that good that fast enough for it to be useful too much.
You make a good point. Like, I'd use almost no supers in SF5, honestly. I just use a lot of EXs.
I don't use EXs usually.
I mean, SF5's weird about EXs because a lot of characters' EXs are their old supers.
What the hell? I just beat our kid with Gil. He gets a picture of Necro.
Ha!
What?
I mean, obviously, that's what Gil stares at in his free time.
Yeah.
While listening to the tapes of Necro doing his little opera singing with his girlfriend. I love Necro. He's a weirdo.
Anyway, yeah.
Street Fighter 6, whenever it comes around, which is probably fairly soon, probably mid a year or so into the PlayStation 5's lifetime, Street Fighter 6 needs to finish the job of bringing back the characters from Alpha and 3 that haven't been back for 3D yet. They need to bring back Necro. We've not seen Necro.
X-Copy.
X-Copy. Yeah, we gotta bring back... If they bring back 12, I'd be fascinated to see them try and turn 12 into a character that isn't shit.
12 is all freaking... 12 is centered around being a doppelganger. Now. He's Shang Tsung.
12 is a character that you pick because you want a mirror match.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put this in perspective for Pink. Pink, there is a character in Street Fighter 3 that is infamously terrible called 12. He has 3 super moves you can pick, one of which just turns him into his opponent. That's all it does. He doesn't get any stronger or anything, he just becomes his opponent.
Okay.
It's the best special move. Because 12 fucking sucks, so the best super you can do is to just turn into your opponent.
The best thing I can be is to be someone else.
The best way to play 12 is to not play 12.
I love it.
Like, the idea of a Street Fighter character that is just all dive kicks could work. But boy, did it not work there.
Yeah, we didn't get a Street Fighter character that is all dive kicked. It was Jury, and now she barely exists.
Jury was half zoning, though.
True. She was like the evil love child of Adon and freaking Sagat.
I think part of why Jury is so fucked up in SF5 is because they wanted to get as far away from SF4's zoning Jury as possible. Like, just fuck that. Nope, none of that.
So obviously, instead of freaking tweaking her Hadokens, you just remove her dive kick altogether.
Yep. And make her the weirdest fucking character possible. So now, Jury had the sharpest decline of play for any fighting game character I've ever seen. She was by far the breakout star out of Street Fighter 4, and in Street Fighter 5 it's just like,
Yeah. Her new costume is it good? Like,
no, it's not. It's really bad. Like, the eye patch could work, but the cat suit is just so lazy.
Yeah, it's the suit that I'm talking about. Like, I have no issues with her face or her head or whatever, but the body, like the clothing doesn't look good on her. It doesn't like. Also, large as freaking duck feet.
Her feet get bigger with every game. That's gotta.
I'm looking forward to Street Fighter 6, where Jury will be 2 large pair of feet.
All the better to kick you with.
The only move she gets is Alex's fucking diving stomp.
No, by Street Fighter 6, they not only will they give Jury back all of her freaking moves, they will also just freaking license at Kim Cup Farm, but give all of his moves to Jerry.
Yeah. Oh man, that's another reason to hope for CVS 3. To get Kim versus Jury. Like, they both went with Korean Taekwondo characters, but KOF, oh, perfect good guy. SF, perfect bad guy. They made Jury a good guy in SF5, didn't they?
Maybe. I haven't not heard freaking character story yet.
Yeah.
People are rooting for SF cross T cross the KOF.
Why?
Like people are, I don't freaking know. It's not gonna happen. But just imagining the freaking imagine a triple threat between Jerry, Kim Kop-won, and Horong.
I don't want to, cause Horong's there.
You have the perfect good guy Taekwondo guy. You have the perfect bad guy Taekwondo guy, and then you have Jin's lover.
Well, I think you'd put that match on, and then Kim would look at his two opponents and just be like, "So I'm the only one here with depth perception, huh?"
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's actually really funny. The Jury got a new design with an eye patch. She looks terrible. Horong got a new design with an eye patch. It's my favorite Horong design yet.
Yeah.
Horong looks fantastic in Tekken 7. Like, most of the Tekken 7 redesigns are fantastic altogether, honestly. That game's got a fetish for coats and jackets, and I love it.
Yeah, and I'm fine with it because so do I.
Oh man,
That's the thing. I just wish Lee got like I want more biker Lee, not freaking actually freaking pompous Lee.
Well, the thing is, with every game, Lee Xiaolon is being turned into Tony Stark. So you just need to be ready for that. Like, he is the Elon Musk of Tekken. That's just how it is now.
I now want Lee Xiaolon in a mech suit.
I am Iron Lee.
Yeah.
He basically is Tony Stark, now that he's even like the big good guy that's funding everyone else.
Yeah. The thing is, he wouldn't call himself Iron Lee. He would come out and say, Combat Suit Mark III.
Damn it. I hate the
It sucks because it's true.
I hate the fucking Cumbot.
Yeah, so do I. I think, like...
Well, I actually love him, but I hate that his name is Cumbot.
I'm not the biggest fan of the design.
No, the design's kind of a weak robot design, but I like the idea of a character who can just steal other people's moves depending on your choices.
He wasn't always that. He used to be Mokujin.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you really want Mokujin and Cumbot in the same game, behaving like that? Like, if they're gonna both be in the same game, at least have Cumbot behave differently.
Okay, Namco needs to do this. Next, figure out Tekken Cross Soul Calibur, Mokujin Combat, actual Mokujin, Edgemaster, Killing from 5.
Just an entire fighting game where every button is the random button, you mean?
Yes.
Oh man, I remember for Killing Floor 1, there was a mod that was simply titled, "I can play any class for real, guys," that just made it where your class was random at the start of every round. And it was just titled that because the mod creator got sick of people insisting they could play any class. So it's like, yeah, huh? Alright, here's a random button. Let's see you fucking play any class, huh? Oh, man. Didn't we intend to record Killing Floor one time?
We did. But we never got around to it because you didn't download it.
I could download it, no problem. I probably just forgot.
Yeah, you forgot.
Like, that's more accurate. It's not that, like, oh, I can't download it. Like, no, it's just that after we finished recording, I was like, la-di-da-di-da.
No,
I'm gonna go eat pizza.
I didn't say you forgot. I said that you didn't download it.
What Why would I not download it?
I'm pretty sure you forgot, yeah.
It's not a mystery.
Like, fuck, I can do it after this recording if somebody reminds me, but I'm definitely gonna forget if we start at the... If we mention it at the fucking start. Oh man, I'm watching Jury's demonstrations right now. I am so glad that they did censor her design and put the fucking weird skin tight latex underneath the cat suit. Because that cleavage would have been fucking stupid if that was the original design. I have never seen more egregious cleavage in anything. Like, you should see just the side of the nipple poking out.
Alright, can we also, like... Okay, you haven't played Q yet. Or freaking G, whatever, same character. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So you haven't played Q yet. The thing is, like, they're insisting on G not being Q. G's not selectable in the Third Strike arcade run. G also has a Q costume. It's his story costume. His story costume.
And he has the exact same fucking moves as Q.
If you become one with the Earth, you can even like... remember the freaking super I kept trying to do in Third Strike?
Self-destruct or the...
No, the grab super.
Yes, the gut kick and then overhead double axe.
No, it's a gut punch, but yeah. So if you become one with the Earth, that's a command grab, just a regular old command grab now.
Yeah, I've seen that. He still has his dash.
It's wild. Yeah.
The only special move he lost was the wild claw swipes, which, of course, why would he have that as G? Like,
yeah.
That's pretty clearly a Q has gone crazy move.
I mean, Q never was there fully, I don't think, but yeah.
Well, it's a different kind of crazy.
True.
He went from being Emperor Norton to being the fucking Question, so... Can I mention that to Pink? Like, Pink, you hear me all the time mention my favorite Street Fighter is the character Q, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I fully elaborated. The character of Q, when he's younger, we see him in Street Fighter V. His character he's basically Emperor Samuel Norton of San Francisco. You've heard that story before, right?
Yeah.
He's a crazy guy who thinks he's the president of the United States, so he does a bunch of internet vlogs talking about being president of the United States. Or no, he's not president of the United States, he's president of the entire Earth, excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, all dressed up as Abraham Lincoln, mind you. And he just gives he gives a bunch of presidential speeches, and even during the match, he still acts like he's giving a speech. His walk cycle has him waving to the crowd.
And all of his moves, if you don't interrupt them, have an animation where he talks. Like there's just an animation of him having a speech after each move, each special.
I was not aware of that. I thought he just had like Mika, where he had a specific move to give a speech.
No, after each, like he's a bit like Zeku, where Zeku does freaking, I forget what they're called, these like martial arts training moves after each special. If you let him, in the same way, G, if you have the time and allow him to do it, G does more poses and talks for longer.
So what you're telling me is G is the one character in Street Fighter V I can steal souls with.
Yes, and here's the thing. I really want to
Stop, my dick can only get so hard.
I really want to spoil I really want to spoil his V skill 2 for you, but I won't.
Yeah, please don't. I'd like to see. I don't want to be spoiled on any of the V skill 2s for any of the DLC, any of the season 3 or season 4 characters, because I don't have them. I only have seasons 1 and 2.
But basically, it's kept going. Yes, he is Q.
Okay, that's good.
That's all I'm gonna say. It's like I was like we were talking about Q yesterday, and you were talking about how he doesn't have his stance and how he's a bit different and stuff like that, and how he has better moves now.
Oh,
and
motherfucker! Is his V skill 2 the fucking health taunt?
Possibly.
Oh! Oh, he is Q. He is Q. Ha ha.
I guess the cat's out of the bag. He has 3 different taunts because you have to spam it 3 times. His second taunt is the Q taunt.
Oh,
It's literally the same.
oh God! He stomps the ground and roars and all that.
I don't think he roars, but he does the same pose and stomps the ground. Yes, and then his third taunt is he points at the camera. He says yeah. Then he points at the opponent and says yeah. Then he starts talking about something, but I never heard it because I get hit out of it.
Yeah, I always eat shit when I taunt. Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me finish it for Pink here. So, Street Fighter 3, my Street Fighter 5 is a prequel. So, in between Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 3, which is later in the chronology, G gets experimented on and turned into some kind of weird cyborg monster who dresses up as a detective, looks virtually identical to, say, Rorschach or Question, but just taller, and becomes Q. And now all of his moves are really clumsy, and half of them result in him falling on his ass, because he's a fucking Frankenstein monster now. My favorite example of the G to Q transformation is, how often did you use Q's move where you would, the back heavy kick?
Back heavy kick. Is that the one where he does like where he basically throws his leg out?
Yeah,
The
the
kick?
Enziguri where he falls flat on his face.
Freaking. I don't remember.
He has that move in Street Fighter 5 still, but he doesn't fall over when he does it.
Oh, you mean the drop kick? Oh no, that's down heavy.
Yeah. Well, it's his,
The drop kick-
in Street Fighter
with
5,
the-
it's his overhead kick.
With the freaking drop kick, he also doesn't fall down anymore.
Oh, interesting.
That's the weirdest. That's the weirdest thing because I am expecting him to fall, and no, he has his hand out.
Huh. Yeah, I need to get Champion Edition. Damn it. My boy is there. I have abandoned my child. I have abandoned my son. I hate it when I reference movies that you guys don't get. If Mike were here, he'd be laughing. I swear. Oh, man.
But yeah,
There's some Street Fighter 5 talk, and we'll get more in later, I assure you.
yeah.
Pink, you got anything going up on your channel?
No, not at the moment.
All right. This week's going to be a week for me. I believe going up this week, for one thing, I want to say either part 1 or part 2 of our Civ 6 recording, where I was Tamar, you were Laurier, and Soon was Pachacuti.
Right.
And then on Tuesday, the first of a new series, which is just called Alex's Pilots or something like that, which is just simply I play a game for an hour or two and decide whether or not I want to make a series of it. And the first one was Broforce, and I think the answer was kind of a no. Even though I did beat like half the game in one session. On Wednesday is a Christmas special that I will not spoil, and on Thursday is part 3 of my playthrough with the Moors and Crusader Kings, God, no. Absolutely not. Total War Medieval 2. I need to record more of that. Addy, do you have anything coming out on your own individual channels?
Well, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, obviously, it's never gonna end.
Yep.
I have 2 whole sessions already edited, but it's waiting to be exported because and every time I think of it, I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
That's basically a good summary of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, if I'm honest.
Ha!
But yeah, as for the forums channel, because that's basically all that's coming out of my channels. On the forums channel, we have on Monday, DMC 5 Part 3, I think, yes.
Yeah.
Then we have the Christmas special on the Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Then let's see, I think like 2 days later we have the year-end review or whatever, the compilation.
Right.
And then Friday, let me check that again, just to make sure. On Friday, we have Total War Shogun 2.
Ooh, okay. I'm excited for that couple of videos. That's a really good one.
Yeah, freaking. We're sorry, Goku.
All right. So, Pink, what you been up to this past week?
This past week sucked. I did get to watch the first episode of The Mandalorian.
Ooh, okay. So, that's a series that's not terribly complicated, is it?
No, it's very interesting because the episode felt very short. I don't know if it was or not. I don't know how long they run.
They do feel very short, yes.
Yeah, and it's kind of in this weird position where it feels like it's giving you a lot, but when you walk away from it, you're like kind of thinking, did anything noteworthy really happen? Because I think the first episode could be summed up very shortly in about 2 minutes.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah, basically, it's like there were great gunfights, there was Baby Yoda, and that's about it. So it's good. I'm curious to see where it will go and how much it will improve over time. Because for now, it's not like the greatest thing ever, like I've been hearing people say, but I really enjoyed it.
Mandalorian's
Got to
this
see my
weird...
boy IG-88
Yeah.
kick some ass, take some names.
I don't think that was 88. I think that was another one of them.
Probably another one.
Because I don't think...
He wasn't called by name, so...
I don't think IG-88 can do that kind of crazy shit. It's in a weird place, it is, where, like, it did nothing, like, really remarkable, and that's what people want it to do.
True, very true.
Like, we've had Star Wars trying to play with the boundaries and all that, and it didn't work, so we want to go back to base for a little bit.
Yeah.
The most remarkable thing about that series to me was, like, well, really, of course, Mando himself and the what kind of performance that Pedro Pascal puts in. Because watching that, you really see, like, yeah, he is invoking the energy of Clint Eastwood super hard. He is Star Wars Clint Eastwood, fully. Like, you got that feeling too, right? Pink? Okay, he's dead.
Nice.
I didn't get to, actually, I did not, the Disney Plus thing, I did not subscribe to Disney Plus. My dad did, and he decided to stop it after he found out that part of the deal was that he would get ESPN Plus or something, which, as it turns out, is a service only for streaming sports-related things, but not the sports themselves. So,
lovely.
if you really want to watch that guy that everybody hates, what's his name? Steven something? He's balding.
I have no idea.
ESPN brings him in to talk about fucking everything.
Stephen Colbert or whatever.
No, not Stephen Colbert. He's a political commentator.
Right. I don't freaking know my American celebrities.
Right.
That's fine. I don't know. He's the balding dude. Like, he's the dude with the awful hairline and the goatee who's been on ESPN for a fucking century, and he gets every job ESPN gives out and all that. So if you really want to watch him, I guess. But if you're like my dad and want to watch the actual sports, then... Well, my dad felt a bit cheated, so he stopped the subscription out of spite. So I think the last Mandalorian episode I watched was episode 4 or 5. But nonetheless, it does get a bit more... It does pick up a fair bit more. Not to a great degree. It's mostly a series that's very... I don't want to say conservative.
Very tame in what it provides.
Yes. But again, it's in a place where that's what people wanted.
Yeah.
I will say, like, there are bits of fan service all over that series. Like, there's a lot with Star Wars in general nowadays of, like, people looking at the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy and wondering, like, oh, what if this happened? And, like, a lot of the stuff, both of the new trilogy as well as The Mandalorian, seems like it's built specifically just to answer that, you know?
Right.
Like, I mean, what other fucking reason is there for Finn having the lightsaber in Force Awakens other than just to be like, man, what if someone who wasn't a Jedi picked up a lightsaber? The answer is they fucking suck with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
What if someone who wasn't a Force user picked up a lightsaber, immediately freaking makes himself fillets himself?
Yeah. Skewered.
Yeah.
He did good with what he was given. I'll give him that. Oh, man. Other than that, you got anything else to say about Mandalorian?
Not really, because, only one episode in, I don't really have any strong feelings on it whatsoever. So there's not much more I could provide or elaborate on there. Very strong cast. Nobody stood out as being terrible. Nobody, as of yet, has stood out as being particularly great either, except Baby Yoda. But, that is what it is.
I'm a fan of Pascal as Mando. I think he's doing a great job. I will say, like, seeing Carl Weathers in this, I am continually like, so why did Hollywood ignore Carl Weathers for like 40 years? Why is it the instant Apollo Creed died, Hollywood was like, oh, well, Carl's dead too, goodbye. Like, what? Hollywood...
It was a different time. Characters are the actual actors.
Yeah, that's what happened to Joe Belushi, I think. Or was it John Belushi? Fuck, I can't remember which one of the Belushis is still alive and which one's dead. It's the fat one, I know. Can you guys remember which one's John and which one's Joe?
No.
Ah, shit. I really shouldn't be asking you guys, come to think of it. That would, again, be a Mike or a Soon question, maybe. Well, hell, Soon wouldn't know either. Whatever.
Anyway.
That ending, though, once Baby Yoda is revealed, that was a pretty good moment, though, wasn't it? Pink? And he's gone, okay. Cool. Whatever, we weren't going to get much talk about Mandalorian anyways. Addy, what have you been up to?
Right, well, I went back and watched a couple of old series.
Of ours?
No.
Okay.
Alright, Pig's back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Did you have anything more to say about Mandalorian?
No.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that was legit probably the only thing I did this week. I didn't even play any Civ this week.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I've had a long week.
Well, I mean, from what you've described, yeah, it sounded like a pretty weird one. Alright. So, Addy, what old series did you check out?
So, I went back and watched what was apparently season 2, but who knows? It's not really a given. Of the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah, that kind of shows season structures are pretty difficult to determine.
Yeah. Like it was shown as season 2, but then the comments said that parts of it were from season 1. It was part of the show.
So you watch this like on YouTube, I assume?
Yeah. And there's no real easy way for me to do it legally.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably would have done it that way.
Oh god, now the cat's really bored when she's trying to get my attention. Alright.
But yeah, so aside from small bits and pieces, I think it still holds up for the most part. Like, the parts that I disliked were like they were there because of the time.
Ah! Ow.
The cat nation attacked.
Oh god.
Like, yeah.
No, keep going.
Like, shows from that era, from the 90s, early 2000s era, really liked using freaking fart noises to show that something is awkward.
Billy and Mandy was big on toilet humor, anyways.
True. And so, like, most of, like I still found it enjoyable, but there were parts of it that didn't age well.
Yeah, I would imagine so. It's
Yeah.
easy for me to like look back and see Billy and Mandy as being a big origin of me liking like some degree of black comedy and all that. At the same time, that show had a lot of annoyance comedy.
Yes, it had a lot of Billy in it.
It had a lot of
You-
SpongeBob in it.
Yeah, but like Billy was the character for annoying comedy. So
Yep.
yeah. On a slightly different note, I also went back and watched Courage the Cowardly Dog. I think that was season 1, but who the hell knows at this point? And that still holds up. I didn't find a lot of issues with it. Like the issues that I found were issues at the time as well, I think. Because like, yeah.
No. That wasn't. I was just breathing out. I know it sounded
so-
like I was getting mad, but
Like there's this episode about the ozone layer and global warming, and I didn't dislike the message. I didn't dislike how they showed what it like. I didn't dislike overall how they showed what it does, but I felt like they made it seem trivial. Is the thing.
now, that's
Like-
what you want to do with your message, right?
Like the thing is, the whole episode is about it not being trivial, but with how they showed it affecting the North Pole, I think, was trivial, because the whole thing is about, well, shit's going bad, y'all. But then they show the ozone layer becoming a thing, and suddenly, like 5 seconds later, there's just no ice left. And then Courage goes and sews the ozone layer back together. And by the time he reaches the ground, there's already huge ice mountains. And that's my issue, because like the message is alright. The way they told it is okay. It's an alright package. And then the fact that it makes the freaking like the fact that it takes no time is trivializes the issue.
Well, I don't think they wanted to continue the rest of the season with the world flooded and whatnot.
Well, yeah, but
Well,
there's a
Courage could have. Courage, honestly, was one of the shows that could have.
yeah.
That's how Flapjack happened.
But like, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's got something to do with like Courage was very much a show about supernatural horror and like oddly Lovecraftian horror.
That,
So stuff that was supposed to be real
usually-
stuff that was supposed to be a real world horror generally might seem kind of trivial. Yeah.
but it wasn't. They did it right. My favorite episode, and the only episode, like a lot of people are like, "Oh man, remember Courage? I was so scared as a kid. I never was scared of Courage."
What the fuck?
That's
Did you not watch Return the Slab?
is that the one with the flying face?
No. That's the one with the mummy that was like animated really horribly in just all the wrong ways.
No, I did, and I wasn't scared of it. There was one episode that made me uneasy in the whole series. That was bloody hell, Freaky Jeff, or what? It was something like that. I forget the freaking titles of the episodes.
Yeah.
It was the episode where Muriel's like nephew Jeff is sent in from prison, probably, and he's a realistic, like, well, quote unquote realistic. He's a quote unquote realistic psychopath, and they convey it pretty well. Like he's not an actual real life psychopath, but he's an adult horror psychopath.
Ha.
And that episode made me uneasy, and I like it's the one thing that I remember really well, like the scene of him just grabbing Courage by the leg and forcefully shaving him.
I do remember that one. That one was pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog that made me uneasy. I never got too scared, but that episode was really freaking like. The thing is, I kind of look at Courage as a horror show because, well, obviously, and usually looking back, or even as I watched it, it didn't scare me. I I think some of the um supernatural horror was a bit too far fetched for me to freaking care. But then you have Jeff, and Jeff is like there's nothing special about Jeff. He's just wrong. And that's the scary part, is that he's just a normal human. The even the freaking reason that he can do these things to Courage is just because Eustace was an ass, which is in character. So it's not like he closed every escape route with magic and shit like that. No, it's just he found a good opportunity and he acted upon it. And that's what that yeah.
I actually don't remember anything in this episode other than the shaving of the leg.
It wasn't just the leg. He shaved Courage clean, from what I remember. But
oh yes, I do remember that.
But basically, what happens is I think Eustace wants to lock Jeff out of the bath, but then Muriel tells Jeff to take a bath, and then instead of that, he throws in Courage with Jeff and then locks both of them in.
Huh.
There's like this gigantic padlock or whatever, something like that he added to the door so it can't open.
Right. Yes, I remember this, and it was like a whole thing of like Jeff had a. Did Jeff already have an established problem with like animal cruelty?
Yeah, well, not animal cruelty I don't know, possibly animal cruelty. Like they don't say that whether or not he hurt the animal. They just say that he shaved it.
So he's just got a weird thing with shaving.
Yes, but then you see how it happens to Courage, and it probably is animal cruelty.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is. I'm pretty sure it is.
But yeah, like that. The gigantic freaking cockroaches, the flying actual human face in this animated show, all the things that people list as creepy. I don't find it scary at all. Like I just find it something that is in that world. I find it to be a part of the entertainment. Jeff is something that oversteps those boundaries, which is why I found that episode and the character really well put together, because that's what he was designed to do. And so yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog, still a great show.
Pink, did you grow up watching Billy and Mandy or Courage?
I didn't grow up watching TV. I saw Clifford. That was it.
Yeah. Where did I watch Courage? That's weird. When did Courage stop running?
2003 to 5, something along those lines.
Cause let's see, I would have got
after that it was reruns. I think. I can check.
I probably got TV when I was 7, maybe. But I remember watching Courage growing up. It might have only been when I was at my grandparents' house, though. I watched TV as a kid. It was just PBS, though. So there's a lot of Jackie Chan, a lot of that one with the Chinese monks. And one of the Chinese monks was a big Texan kid that was blonde with a big cowboy hat.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
It ran from 1999 to 2002.
Okay.
Apparently.
Huh. There were only 3 seasons.
There were 4.
Oh. 4 seasons in 3 years. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Huh. Alright. So, I take it you've not seen either show that we're talking about then, Pink?
Nope.
Okay. You've definitely heard of Courage's legacy, though.
Yeah, I've heard it's a scary show, so that's all I'm familiar with.
That's really all you need to be familiar with.
It's a scary kids show that somehow touches upon actual society issues in a way that children can understand.
I mean, it does that, but
It's not the main selling point.
no, it's not. I so, some episodes were about that. Some episodes it was well. There's definitely
Yeah,
I guess that was always there, and I just never saw it.
Yeah, like there's the global warming episode, the freaking one with the snowman. There's one about littering, where there's like this miracle lake that goes away because people have littered in the lake's bed so much that it can spring up from the ground.
Huh.
There was the mask one about freaking. I think it was the mask, the one that has domestic abuse was an issue.
I think every episode had domestic abuse as an issue because
Well,
Eustace.
yeah, yes, Eustace, but I mean aside from the main characters, it's brought up as an issue.
Ha! The the only episode that like I can distinctly, very clearly in my head remember is the fucking one where they buy all the miracle plants and they get a biodome put over them.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. Rewatching it now, I thought it like some of the jokes were alright, but I didn't like. It's weird because I didn't find it entertaining, but overall it did like it did okay.
Yeah. To me, that was just the weirdest thing was the fucking tomatoes eating people and shit like that. You know.
Yeah, the only thing I remembered from that episode was Eustace's head getting stuck in a cabbage.
Where it belongs.
Yeah, the weirdest episode that I watched with my recent rewatch was the one with the windmill, because there's an episode where the windmill stops, and apparently there's like these old Viking runes on the windmill that are there to stop freaking like Ragnar Lodbrok from invading nowhere.
Okay.
It's not actually Viking runes. It's it's basically Viking runes, but not actually Viking runes.
Okay.
And so like the story is, I think Vandals like tried making people use water wheels as a source of power, and like this one dude who made the form that Courage and Co live on was like, no, wind. And so the Vandals disliked him, and they put a curse on him or something like that. That when the windmill stops, they'll come and wreck his shit. But
Okay.
they don't.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
How dare you with your water mills?
you mean your windmill?
Whatever.
They
fuck
had
it.
the water wheels, yeah. And so the thing is like freaking, like it was weird the way they ended it, because the windmill collapses because uses is stupid, and so it stops, and so the freaking Vandal's ghost rise from the dead. They look like the freaking horsemen of the apocalypse, and they're coming to kill everyone. And so Garish tries to rebuild the windmill and all that, like keep it together. He can't. But eventually they do rebuild it, and it starts functioning again, and the Vandals go away. But this is after they cut off everyone's heads.
I might remember this episode at least a little.
And they play around with the heads, like they throw each other their heads and shit like that. Courage,
I mean,
courage,
if I lost my head, that's the first thing I'd do.
Courage on the body of Muriel uses Eustace's head as a bowling ball against the Vandals.
Oh god, I couldn't get you to agree to play Skullgirl, so the reference would be missed.
So yeah, Courage, Courage is still good. Courage didn't age too bad.
I mean, I would have told you it was probably one of the series that had aged best. There are some that you can look back and think like, oh god, that one probably really didn't age well. Like, you remember Kids Next Door?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you a lot of that show just being kids and like, oh, boogers. Like, yeah, that's probably not. That one probably didn't age well. Just saying.
Who knows?
Alright, anything else?
Let's see. I finished Yakuza 4.
Ooh, okay. Did you warm up to it more with time?
Yes. I don't hate it anymore.
Was your main was your main problem with the game simply that you just want to play as Kiryu?
No, actually. Because I started liking it more when we got to Saejima. You know,
Okay.
Majima's Kyodai.
Yeah, I remember.
So yeah. That's when I started warming up, and it just turns out that I'm not the biggest fan of Shun Akiyama. I really dislike the new freaking detective guy.
The baseball, the who guy?
Detective guy. So, newsflash: Yagami isn't original. Not completely.
Who's Yagami?
Yagami is the protagonist of Judgment.
Oh, okay.
So, because I throughout my playthrough of Judgment, I was like, well, they're doing something different. He is a cop, basically. Like, he's a private eye, but close enough.
Yeah.
Nope, not that original. Actual cop. Yakuza 4. Like, you're one step away from being freaking Date. Do they even have Date in Zero? I don't think so.
So the undercover cop that immediately got booted out of canon is the one you dislike.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Wait, did his like freaking did his voice get into trouble or something?
Yep.
Ah.
Yep. That be how it do.
But wait, I think I remember hearing about him being in 7.
Oh, they might have brought him back for a cameo in 7 because the HD remake changed his voice actor. The HD remake of 4 changed his voice actor. And his facial model. But, yes, the original voice actor was accused of using cocaine. It later turned out the accusations were false. But Japan being what it is, his career was ruined anyway, so it didn't matter. Which,
I see.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like just a jealous rival said, oh, this guy, I saw him use cocaine. And everybody at the time was like, oh, well, alright. His career's over. That's
Yeah,
proof enough.
Tanimura. That's his name.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like Tanimura.
Well,
I felt like, yeah.
The White Lightning saw to the end of that, so you don't need to worry.
He might be in 5. Let me check. Whatever. Doesn't really matter that much.
I think they just have a comment where someone is like, oh yeah, the cop guy, he left. He said something about needing to meet with a friend. He needed his fix, I think he said.
Ah, yes, he's out.
Yeah, he is super out in 5. 5 introduces another new character, the baseball pro guy, as well as having you play as Haru.
Ah.
And Haru, by the way, is all music mini games. And all talking about just the idol industry in Japan.
Fair.
I have heard of several people who gave up on Yakuza 5 just because of Haru. And it's like really bad because apparently Yakuza 5 is like really strong on like the idol industry is really bad and exploitative. But then it follows it up with the kind of shit that is wrong with the idol industry. Like in the same way Persona 5 is like, hey, we probably shouldn't be encouraging teachers to sexualize Anne. And in the very next fucking frame, Anne is sexualizing herself. Posing ass up.
Yeah, we should. we shouldn't teachers shouldn't sexualize Anne. Also, here's Anne's ass.
Yeah. You player who is also probably even like either about Kamoshida's age or perhaps even older.
But yeah, I like it sounds bad, but I don't mind Tanimura being removed. Like it seemed like they were setting him up to actually be a character at the end of Yakuza 4, but yeah,
Well, I mean,
like
the
yeah,
appropriate answer is I'm glad the character is gone, but I wish that didn't happen to the actor.
yeah.
Ah.
So
Anything
um,
else?
well, I liked the four-way showdown at the end. So you instead of having the one big showdown, you have four.
Oh. Is it an actual one-on-one-on-one fight?
Yes.
That's crazy.
It's not a one-on-one. It's four one-on-one fights.
I assume that's Kiryu destroying all the other playable characters, right?
No,
Oh.
that happens before.
Ha!
That's it. That's at the middle of the story.
Okay. Does anyone get any hit? Does anyone get a victory over Kiryu?
Well, Sayajima gets close, but his heart decides to stop, and then Shun Akiyama and Tanimura team up on Kiryu and get their shit pushed in. Kiryu grabs both of them at the same time and just throws them to the ground.
Well, I mean, the manager's guy is kind of a loser, isn't he?
He's supposed to be like not quite on the level of Kiryu, but like somewhere along those lines in power, from what I can tell. At least with how this game set him up.
Huh.
Like it's like I liked Akiyama at first because like I liked how he gave no shits about like he has this attitude about him where he doesn't give a shit, especially not about the fight that's going on right now. And I thought that was a funny change from Kiryu. And so, I was like, maybe I like this character. And then it's just like gambling, love interest. Oh, the love interest is now most of the story. Oh,
Heh. He was supposed to be kind of the player character from the beginning, though, wasn't he?
yeah, he's the first character you play as. He's the first quarter of the game
Okay.
because each character gets a quarter.
Oh,
And
you
so
don't switch between them like in 4?
no,
Oh, I'm in 0. Damn it.
like I don't remember how. I think how it is in Zero is that it goes back and forth, right?
Right,
That's
but
what I remember.
don't you eventually unlock the ability to change?
Well, yeah, once you're done with the story.
Oh.
And I mean that's more or less here as well, because like literally before the last mission, the game is like, "Hey, last mission, wanna go and karaoke with everyone?"
Huh. Obviously.
So you know.
Why would I not?
Now the game actually tells you to buy a lot of health items, and I just went and karaokeed.
I appreciate games that are like, hey, Final Boss is gonna be soon. We're just outright telling you this, so stock up on shit.
Yeah. The thing is like the bosses. So first boss is actually Akiyama. The fight happens. It's all right. It's okay choreographed. Whatever. Second fight. Sayajima. He wrecks the other guy's shit because he's a bloody gorilla. Freaking next fight. Kiryu. Like I feel like they made Kiryu way too defensive in this game, but that I might have just freaking missed that Kiryu or something. Cause how they do the poses before each big fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, his big pose in the last fight of the game is him blocking.
Huh.
And then the way he defeats the guy is that he punches the other guy's fist so hard that his fingers break. The other guy does a sin cara.
As in he botches terribly, or?
No, like, do you remember when Sin Cara called him match off because he broke his finger?
Oh, right. I do remember that being a thing 4 was praised for, was that the villain just realizes, like, oh, fuck, I can't beat this guy, and leaves. Later,
No,
nerds.
that's not even that. Because, like, I didn't see that in this game for one. For it was just, oh, you beat me. I am good now. So,
I mean,
Change of heart.
but yeah,
that's kind of what Yakuza has to do, because Kiryu won't kill people.
yeah, but Tanimura was ready. there, during Tanimura's story, there were at least like 3 or 4 times when he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna bust the cap, and then story makes it so he can't.
Yeah,
So, you know.
that's Yakuza. Kiryu never killed anyone. Cut to that fucking time where he used a Matter D as a fucking bullet shield.
Yeah, it's freaking none of the Yakuza protagonists killed anyone. So what got to Saejima shooting 18 guys?
Yeah. Oh, I'm shocked that there
That's-
wasn't a twist that turned out Saejima was framed. Yeah, that, nope, I could have swore I read about that, but you saying all that, I was like, well, I guess I was wrong, but no.
that's what Yakuza 4 is about.
Of course it is! Because otherwise Saejima wouldn't even fucking be there, he'd be the bad guy. Because it's fucking Yakuza. If you kill people in Yakuza games, you're a bad person, automatically. Except for,
And the thing is,
except for fucking Majima. Majima kills someone at some point, right?
I think so. But the thing is, like, they bring in Majima. It's like, hey, it's well liked fan favorite character Majima, who is tied to one of the protagonists, to 2 of the protagonists, and then it's like, okay, so you do say Saejima's story, and then you come back to Majima with Kiryu, and he's getting hauled off by the cops, and he's just like, it's all connected. Can't you remember the one time you got a cold? It was the evil guys.
You remember that time you shit your pants in elementary school? It was me, Barry. It was me. Oh,
But the thing is, the worst part is, Majima's right. It is all connected.
Oh God, have you ever seen that thing? Soon. God, Hank, the fucking 4chan thing that was just people posting pictures of Reverse Flash and having increasingly absurd quotes like, "You remember that you tripped in front of the whole class in high school? That was me, Barry. It was all me."
I've not seen that, but I love it.
You remember that time you got a awkward boner while on your first date? That was me, Barry. That was me.
I jerked you off so fast you couldn't even feel it.
You remember that time you were eating a sandwich and all the meat slipped out the back? That was me, Barry. Man.
Freaking. So, do we care about Yakuza 4 spoilers?
Fuck it. If you don't want to be spoiled on Yakuza 4, stop here.
Alright. So, here's the thing. That time when Kiryu got sent to prison for like freaking 15 years because he stole 10 million.
I thought he was covering up for the dad.
Oh, not the dad, but yes. Or maybe the dad, I don't remember. Yeah, whatever. So that was because 10 million bucks got stolen along the way. So that was also because evil person in Yakuza 4.
Who turns good anyways, right?
No. He dies.
Okay.
Genuinely.
Heart attack, right?
No, he grabs a gun and shoots himself.
Oh, yeah. There we go. If a Yakuza character is dying, it's not by getting killed by anyone else, except maybe the villain.
But yeah, so that also Sajima getting trained and getting sent to prison for life. Also what the bad guy's doing.
Why wouldn't it be?
And it's basically just this. It's like they don't explain it fully, but basically it's like anything bad that has ever happened to the Tojo clan, bad guy. Like any small freaking infraction was his doing.
Was this game written by Hideo Kojima?
Not that I know of.
Because that's Hideo Kojima's favorite trope.
And yeah, the freaking like continuing on the boss fights. So Kiryu has his boss fight, and it's the ending sucks in my opinion.
Yeah.
Then we get and it's like, I wonder why they didn't leave Kiryu to the last. Why they leave the Tanimura guy to the last? It's because his boss fight is framed as a 1-on-1. It's not. It's actually a group fight against like I didn't count, but it was like 15 or so enemies aside from the boss, all of whom can dodge perfectly.
Huh?
And so it's fighting against these guys who can dodge perfectly and have knives, so they are shanking you every second of your fiber of your being existing. Also, the boss is shooting you with 2 guns. So that's why they told you to freaking buy life items.
God, that's the thing I can't get over in Yakuza. Opening up the pause menu and using items. It just takes me out of it so badly.
Yeah. The one thing I did, like, I actually didn't stock up on health items. That's the thing. So I just went in with whatever the hell I had on Tanimura when his chapter of the story ended, and I still won.
Well, yeah, you
I
played
had-
a shit ton of Yakuza. I'd be shocked if you didn't win.
But yeah. I also played Yakuza 7's demo. And yes, the fighting mechanic exists.
Yep.
So, since I actually found out something, so apparently the game director or something like that, said that what they wanted to do was the mechanic that I thought they wanted to go with, which is you do normal 3D beat 'em up shit, and then you can switch it to turn based.
So why
Apparently
did they
that's-
do that?
They ran out of time. They didn't have time to put the fun into the game. So
Sorry,
now
guys,
it's
we forgot the fun.
yeah. So now we only have the turn-based mechanic, which doesn't work because the freaking like the thing is, it's pretty obvious that that's what they wanted to go with because the enemies mostly still use that freaking gameplay design.
Ha!
But you can't move between two. Like I thought that it would be like Kingdom Hearts if Kingdom Hearts combat didn't suck completely, and it's like. I imagine that you would be able to like move around, maybe do like basic hits, and then you do magic. No, it's just
Yakuza magic.
there actually is magic in the game. That's the worst
What?
part.
Why?
I don't freaking know. Like some of the magic is explained with actual tools. Like if you do fire magic, I I would tell you what the actual spell was called, but I don't know because it's in Japanese.
Ha!
But like if you do a fire magic, then one of the characters pulls out like a spray can and bloody lighter. So at least that makes sense. But then there's also healing magic, and in the demo you get a healer and like I don't actually know what to call him, the class of the guy, because like you get a healer, you get a guy who's pretty big on magic, but I wouldn't call him a mage just yet, and you also get Ichiban, who is a brawler, and so the healing magic makes no sense. The healing magic is the guy runs to you or whoever he's healing. If he's healing himself, then he just stays in place. Then he like slouches over, does circles in the air while freaking he's summoning Shin Megami Tensei, and then healing numbers pop up.
He inspires you with his dancing.
It's not even dancing. It's literally just he slouches over and does circles in the air before him, like basically like he's like fixing an invisible car, slouched over.
Okay. I mean, I guess if they wanted magic, they had to do magic.
And yeah, like the so where do I start with my issues with this? I feel like RPGs as a genre are a bit overrepresented right now.
Yes, especially after the big success of Witcher and Skyrim and all them, inspiring a shit ton of knockoffs.
Yeah.
Follow
So
me
everything
here.
going everything going RPG is bad for me because I avoid turn-based RPGs usually because I don't like them. And that's fine. like
Heh.
like I don't think that the genre is shit, it's just not for me. Like there are the rare games that I actually can play through and like that are turn-based RPGs. Like I played through Chrono Trigger and I really liked it. I also played through Persona 5 and I really liked that. But like I cannot force myself to play through Final Fantasy. And it's not the fault it's not a fault of the game. And I don't think it's a fault of me. It's just that it's not that we're not compatible.
Heh.
So, everything going RPG is pretty bad. This turning into a turn-based RPG is even worse because I feel like it's out of place too. Like the reason how they explain away in lore is that Ichiban is just using his imagination.
That's so. Hang on. So it's not real.
No. Well, the moves are sort of real, but not really. Like it's they are actually in a street fight. They are fighting, but it's not exactly how you see it because he's imagining it to be like Dragon Quest.
I. Well, I mean, that's genuinely befuddling. I have no words for that. Like I know that they were building Ichiban up as being a little crazier than Kiryu, and I like that, but what?
There's a certain type of crazy that you want to go for. This is not it. Like Majima Crazy is alright because Majima Crazy is sort of psychopathic, but he's also a good guy sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. This is just legit should be like, well, I won't say should be locked in a freaking the crazy house, but like
This
it's
doesn't.
getting there.
I mean, what? No. When I said crazy, I didn't mean like
The guy is actually the guy is actually actively having delusions. That's the thing.
Well, my assumption here is that he just thinks Dragon Quest is cool, so that's what he's imagining.
Might be, I don't know. I didn't follow the freaking lore explanations that hard because I wasn't that interested in the game after they announced the turn-based gameplay, and after playing the demo, I'm even less interested.
You are cursed. You are actually cursed.
Yes, we've discussed it. It's the power of freaking revengeance, requiem.
Like, Pink, how many video game series are there that you loved and they wound up turning into something you didn't? And not like that just the quality declined, but the series took an entirely new direction that went entirely against you.
Paper Mario.
Paper Mario, they still make those?
Yes, they're not good.
It's like there was the first one which was good. The second one I believe was The Thousand Year Door, and that's one of my all-time favorite games ever. Then every subsequent one after that I thought sucked, and it just got worse as time went on. But that's the only real example I can think of.
But that's not the same still because like the Mario RPG games, the Paper Mario series stayed an RPG for the most part. It's like if Paper Mario turned into freaking God of War.
Right.
And I mean, if it's still Paper Mario and it just sucks, then I mean that's just a quality change, and we can all list off plenty of franchises that just got bad.
Contra.
Fucking Silent Yeah, Contra.
Yeah, Silent Hill.
Contra, Silent Hill, fucking
Castlevania.
Castlevania. Where the fuck did Castlevania go? I'm gonna be honest, a little bit Metal Gear. I know that's a controversial take, but Mike's not here, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Fucking, like, there's several franchises that are fine now, but for a hot minute they fucking sucked. Like, Mortal Kombat. Fucking, what the fuck was Resident Evil? Street Fighter, yeah. What the fuck was Resident Evil doing for a while?
Freaking, like, can I just say fighting games in the mid 2000s?
Soul
does that cover
Calibur
it?
kept fighting games alive in the mid 2000s.
Soul Calibur and Tekken for the most part. Then there was also 6, but yeah.
Yeah, Tekken Sex.
Yeah, Tekken 6 now featuring on the only playable character, Nina Williams or freaking Anna Williams. Yeah.
What about Kuma? No love for Kuma?
Oh no, Pig, no!
And Pink was the one that frowned on the furries. He's one of them now.
This is true.
Oh god, Tekken Sex introduced Zafina, the weird spider woman. Weird, creepy spider woman. Oh god. And she's back. Back for the nightmares.
Back to do her shitting stance where he stomps on your feet too hard.
Oh god. Oh no. Don't bring the foot fetish in too.
Also the sketch fetish
Oh
for the
god.
stance.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, where were we? Right, freaking Yakuza
Yakuza.
7 and freaking shit going bad, y'all.
Shit
like
bad, y'all.
Yeah. Mary Poppins, y'all. But yeah, freaking, like, I don't. Like, people are saying that, oh well, the story is gonna be the same quality, and I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. But I play video games to play video games. That's a part of playing video games. The story is a big part, but I want to have a mix of both being good, or at least serviceable. But
Yeah. I mean,
like, you know, if yeah, like I can't follow a game if I hate the gameplay. That's the issue I had with that's actually the issue I'm having with the modern Assassin's Creed games. That's like I actually can't bring up a lot of these because I have to buy games selectively. So most of the things that when I would be like, no, I just don't buy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like games that I've really hated the story, but I've really enjoyed the story, but not got a kick out of the gameplay. Well, hey, look, Dark Souls. Guys, did you know there's a copy of Dark Souls over there staring at me right now? Yeah, it's funny I see that. Fuck me.
But yeah, so overall, that loss, and people have been like, people on the Yakuza Reddit have been, well, you know, it's the thing is, I joined the Reddit 2 weeks from then. Freaking again, the new game gets announced and it's all freaking reworked to be like a different genre or like completely different from what it used to be, and I just see the same thing that I saw with the Assassin's Creed Reddit and the Assassin's Creed series. So basically, I've just been in Groundhog Day since 2015.
What you gotta do is you gotta start using your powers for good.
Yeah, I said I needed to start liking The Witcher and Dark Souls.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Hey, can you turn Dark Souls into something else for me? That'd be cool.
Use the powers of the like. Use the beam powers of Revenge's Requiem to its fullest extent. Make Dark Souls into something that's fun.
Announcing the new Dark Souls 4. It's a first-person shooter. Wait, what?
Dark Souls 4. It's a card game.
Oh, that's a genuine possibility. That's not even funny. That's just a genuine possibility. I could see someone building a deck and being like, "Oh man, I'm really fucking hoping I get my King Gwyn card, or else I'm fucked." Because everything else is just fucking Patches the Spider.
brought to you by the people who brought you Magic the Gathering. Buy cards now. Seriously, we need your money. Look at the TGAs.
Oh god, that was pathetic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, yeah. Freaking like the thing is, I feel like I gave Yakuza 7. Like actually, I want to go into this. So people have been like on the Yakuza Reddit have been going like, well, the gameplay is divisive, the new direction is divisive, but can we all agree that the naming convention of it being called Yakuza Like a Dragon in the West is stupid? And
I think
to
that's
that I
actually
say,
cool. I actually like
to
that.
but like because it's a big part. It's like actually the next numbered game in the series. That's what they argued against. But
Right, but the localizers are being smart and recognizing this could bomb.
yeah. And so I have decided that to piss off both sides equally, I'm gonna start calling Yakuza 7 Ryuga Gotoku Like a Dragon now.
Say it in Japanese and then English, yeah.
Yeah, like a dragon, like a dragon. The best title of the game.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, that reminds me of fucking Devil May Cry reboot. Because
You know
what
what?
is the name of the Devil May Cry reboot when you think about it? Because they throw DMC in front of it. So
Yeah,
it's just Devil May Cry, Devil May Cry.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
Revolver Ocelot, Revolver Ocelot.
Parenthesis, Revolver Ocelot.
Yeah.
Posted by Revolver Ocelot. Commented on by Revolver Ocelot. Oh, man.
So yeah, that's
There's nothing
yeah.
like the feeling of sliding a bullet down a long, well-greased chamber.
There's nothing feels like Revolver Ocelot.
Alright.
So yeah, Yakuza 7. Yeah,
What are your favorite gaming franchises? Name your top 5 favorite gaming franchises.
me.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gaming franchises. Well, Assassin's Creed, probably Yakuza. Well, the first 6 games, I guess now. But yeah,
Hang on, keep going. This is an experiment.
probably Tekken. Let's see. Well, Sengoku Basara. And let's see, what would be the 5th?
Contra or Guilty Gear?
At this point, I basically only like the first game of Contra. like,
And you
Like
only
the
like
sec-
2 of the Guilty Gears.
yeah, I'm
Well, what
open
other
to
ones
give-
are you gonna fucking fess up for? Isuka? Judgment?
I'm willing to give a chance to the first game or and the other ones. Really, I just didn't get around to buying them.
I've heard Guilty Gear 1 is dog shit.
It could be, but like
you
I'm
can-
still willing to give it a chance. Yeah.
You can do round 1 instant kills, and it finishes the entire match.
Oh,
If you get the instant kill in round 1, the match is over. That's all. And
nice.
And the instant kills were not nearly as trash as they are in 2 and Xrd.
Oh, nice.
So, Guilty Gear 1 was all about get that fucking instant kill and done.
I see.
Also, it just kind of looked like crap.
Well, yeah, but it's an old fighting game. Yes.
It's a PS1 fighting game.
Yeah. I guess Guilty Gear because I can't come up with any of the other ones. Like I could say Strider, but then I only like the 2 and the freaking remake.
Right, so out of your 5 favorite franchises, 3 of them have had massive fucking direction changes. And between the remaining 2, we've got Sengoku Basara, which almost never comes to the West.
It's also Dead in the Water. It used to be a yearly release.
Yep. But then Ono happened. And then
I
the
don't-
Ono came. Or, no,
I
it's
don't-
even worse, he didn't even come.
No, that Ono was announced, but he never showed up.
And your other favorite is Tekken. Well, yeah, Tekken's a good franchise to have a favorite of, because that series is fucking consistent. Let me tell you, Tekken might be the most consistent video game franchise. You get a Tekken game, you know what you're getting into, except for Tekken 4.
I wish there was a way we could play Tekken 4 online so we could do freaking mountain combos.
Fuck that. Like, Tekken's one of the only franchises I can think of that only has one distinct stinker. Because, I mean, 6 was mediocre in its own special way, but other than that, like, 1, 2, and 3, all winners. Tag 1, classic. 5, fantastic.
Dead by Degrees.
I don't count that. If we're counting that, you know how many other fucking games we have? You know how many other fucking games we have to count? Like, oh yeah, let's talk about the Assassin's Creed game that was set in China or whatever, right?
That was an alright game for being basically their freaking Prince of Persia revival.
Ah,
The other two that came after wasn't very really good, but that game was okay.
alright. Well, fuck me. So, I mean, 2 stinkers and one of them being a spin-off is not at all a bad track record.
Yeah.
Like, its sister series, Soul Calibur, cannot claim the same record.
But hey, to Heihachi.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, there is only one Soul Calibur that did everything right, and that's 2. Because 3 did a lot right, but 3's gameplay still was suffered in a few categories. And
I'd argue, but I don't remember. I haven't played the game in like freaking 10 years because my copy is broken.
Eh.
and then 4 came.
I played Soul Calibur 3 so much that the CD doesn't read in my PS. Well, it reads, but it doesn't load in the actual character models. So like you're just stuck looking at the freaking like the clouds as they're trying to be loaded in, but they can't.
Wait, does the fight still happen though?
No,
Oh,
like the menu works perfectly. Going into creation mode crashes the game. If you go into versus, you can choose a character, but they will never load in. And the weirdest part is that's only on my actual PS2. Where on my old PC, which had an actual disk drive, when I put the CD into that and tried it with an emulator, that loaded in.
oh my god. I think the problem is your PS2.
But it has no freaking issues with anything else. It's just Soul Calibur 3.
Well, the developers make it sound like the PS2 is a fucking technical mystery, so...
Well, that has Snoop Dogg. My PS2 doesn't like Snoop Dogg. But only as a boss.
That's a sentence. My PlayStation 2 doesn't like Snoop Dogg. Oh man, anything else?
Let's see. Because I did something else as well. Yeah, alright, I played a bit of Foul Play.
What's that?
So, Foul Play is the Silverware Digital game that, well, it was released by them. I don't know I don't forget who actually developed it. It's a beat 'em up that it's a play about like, you know, old time like Victorian era or so freaking adventurers going to Egypt and shit like that.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a beat 'em up. The gameplay mechanics are beat 'em up mechanics. Like I don't know how to explain better because it's just like, okay, so we progressed somewhat from Streets of Rage, but not much. And the major thing that I did find different in it. Well, there were 2, actually 3 now that I think about it. Yeah. So there's 2 different meters in the game. One of them is the crowd meter, which is how much you're pleasing the crowd, and you want to please the crowd because that's how you get good scores. And by getting good scores, you get better items.
So Devil May Cry style points.
Yeah, basically. And then you also have a separate meter that I think fills up with combos. That is basically a get out of getting hit free card, more or less, because it puts you into a mode where every hit does twice the damage and counts as 2 hits in the combo meter.
Ooh, okay.
So basically, if you get hit and thus your crowd rating goes down, you just pop that mode and then it's up.
Ha! Alright.
And then the game also has items, which or like you get items for getting 3 stars on a stage, and you get 3 stars for the freaking points. So that's how the score system ties in. The
Okay.
items range in use. Like I don't have a lot of them so far, but there's items that make it so you can take more damage before the crown meter goes down. There's one that makes it easier to get the combo meter going, shit like this.
Are these permanent items or like just for the level?
Permanent.
Oh, that's
But you but
per,
but you
permanent.
can only
Okay.
select 2 of them.
Only you can only carry 2 of them. Okay, that makes sense. I was about to
So
say
yeah.
it's weird to have really strong permanent progression in a beat 'em up. That is strange, right? I guess you guys would probably know beat 'em ups better than I do, or at least Pink.
Well, yeah. Well, I've only played the old ones, so I don't know how beat 'em ups. Well, I've only played the old ones and like to the middle of Charlie Murder, but Charlie Murder wasn't really good.
It doesn't sound like based on its name.
It's imagine if you could condense early 2000s Edge into a beat 'em up, and that's basically Charlie Murder from what I remember.
All right, fair enough.
So like you'd think that I like it, but I didn't.
I, it doesn't sound great, honestly.
Yeah, it's just like uh let's see if I remember my main issues with it. Not really, but basically most of the character designs, the graphics were alright otherwise, but I don't like the character designs also. Like it's got the thing where everything metal is satanic
Huh.
going, which I don't like. Like you, and that's basically its whole freaking identity. Its whole identity is the anarchy symbol and the metal being satanic.
Okay. Now back to foul play. What beat 'em up do you think it's most comparable to?
uh, Probably Streets of Rage, just because it's also a like 2 button beat 'em up.
Okay.
Although I didn't think about, yeah,
Have you played Final Fight before?
I have, but it was so long ago I don't remember the controls.
Okay, because Final Fight was also a 2 button beat 'em up. I have a question though. I've never played Streets of Rage. In Streets of Rage, if you run into an enemy without pressing a button, do you grab them?
No. Maybe I don't remember. Pink could probably tell you better because he actually played the second game when he was a child.
Yes, I'm
But
pretty sure that's how it works. If you walk into somebody without pressing a button, you will enter a grab state.
Okay, because that's what Final Fight had. So I was wondering, like, if that was one of the big differences between Final Fight and Streets of Rage.
yeah, that's not a thing in this game. In this game, there's a separate grab button, but it's also the parry button, I think.
There's a parry button.
Yes, the game is all about, well, not all about parrying, but it's pretty much about parrying. Because with parry, you can do shit like pile drivers.
As you should. As you should.
And so it's like you do a launcher combo, and then you immediately snap to the air combo because you don't even need to press the jump button. So
Okay.
you do a short air combo, and then while you're doing the air combo, the other person is also already attacking you, so you can just switch to the other guy with the parry, step to them, and then either throw them on the first guy or do a pile driver that does AOE,
That
shit
sounds.
like that.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty good, cool beat 'em up, in
All
my
right.
opinion.
Saying use pile drivers to do AoE damage is just reminding me of Guacamelee.
I don't think it does AOE damage. I think it's just knockdown, but it's still AOE.
Yeah, I forget if Hagar also had a AoE knockdown on his pile driver in Final Fight. That might be a send up to him.
Possibly. Did I do anything else? Well, obviously Street Fighter 5.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular you want to say about it?
uh, it's in a better state than when I last played it, but I still wish that the combos were that not the combos, just like the attacks feel restrictive, and I wish they didn't.
Restrictive how?
Like I'm trying to do multiple things at once. It feels like I'm trying to do multiple things at once, and I can't choose what to do. Like
That's kind of
yeah,
ambiguous.
yeah, I know, but like basically it feels like I'm too locked into place when I start to do a string. That's the best I can put it.
It can feel like that, but Street Fighter in general has shorter strings than most fighting games.
Yeah.
So I think that's just part of keeping people from doing too long of count combos.
An interesting way to counter infinites and long combos that I have seen in an indie game recently. The indie game is not even out yet. It's just the developer posted a video explaining how his game will work for the most part
What game is
once
this?
it's done. Oh, I forget the name.
It's not Punch Planet, is it?
I don't think so.
Other than that, I'm not entirely on top of indie fighting games. It's not the one with the animals, right?
No, it's not that one. It's not them fighting herds.
Yes.
I don't like that one because it's animals.
Yeah, it's well, it started off as a My Little Pony fan work, didn't it?
Ah,
Yeah,
even worse.
Yeah, I knew I could upset you by saying that.
But yeah, it's Evolver.
Evolver. I've not heard of it. Interesting.
It's like it's in pre-alpha. That's why it's this one guy, from what I can tell, who's working on it. It's his thing, and he's been working on it for years. But all of the artists that he had quit on him,
Ha!
or something like that. Like he just fell apart. So right now he has stage art and then placeholder character art.
Ha! Sounds like progress then.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least the gameplay mechanics work for the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah. And so how he dealt with infinites and shit like that is that an infinite can be broken because on the third hit of any infinite that the game feels is an infinite, you can block, you can air block, or you can counter. But if you miss the window, if you're not paying attention, then you get sent back into the infinite.
How does it even detect that it's an infinite?
I think if I don't know because I don't think he explained that yet, but from what I could tell from the footage, it was any because he kept the guy juggled using the same like one or two moves, and every third hit of those moves, the enemy guy could have countered.
Okay, well, if it's just using the same moves, then I mean, you better hope no one's creative with their movesets.
Yeah.
I assume this is like a hyper fighter of some sort, yes?
Possibly.
I mean, otherwise, why would you even be paying attention to it?
I actually wasn't paying attention to it, but I just ran across it on Reddit, and the guy uploaded a video saying like, well, people were interested, and here's what the game looks like now, and it's like a exploration video where he goes into how one character of the game works and how he imagines gameplay mechanics will be.
I mean, if this is just like, see, I'd rather just patch in, like, just have it where if someone finds an infinite combo, you patch in a fucking nerf to that move or something. Like, this kind of just auto anti-infinite system, like, I've heard of good examples of it before, but I don't know. Yeah.
I feel like it's a better way to go about it than freaking Guilty Gear Strive, at least. Because Guilty Gear Strive, or Strive, I don't know why I said it with freaking an F, but yeah. Guilty Gear Strive has no air taking aside from when the game decides you're in an infinite. When you're in an infinite, you get to air take.
Right, right.
But only away from the opponent. So God help you if you're in a freaking corner.
Heh.
for like those 2 seconds.
I thought you said there was no corner pressure in Strive.
I mean, with this there might as well not be sometimes. I mean, we don't know much, but yeah, like we don't know how good the attacking is in the game or how much it freaking sets itself off. But with it, it seems like you'll be able to either tech or wake up before people could do corner pressure well, if they don't break the wall.
Okay.
So it's like there might be corner pressure, but there might not be corner pressure. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
Either way, the wall is probably getting broken.
Okay. And,
I don't. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
one of your big contentions with Street Fighter is that you don't think Street Fighter offers you much combo freedom, yeah?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of different schools of thought, because I find it way easier, at least mentally easier, to do combos in Street Fighter, because it usually is just as simple as, like, crouching kick, Hadoken, maybe a V-trigger cancel if you've got it, and then maybe another Hadoken and maybe a super.
But yeah, but see, I like doing the big flashy shit, and so it's like that's a combo, yes, but I want to be able to do 4 kicks of varying heights, like shit like that.
I mean, you do you, by all means. But I mean, I hate having to press kick 4 times and fucking hitting every button on the controller. I despise that shit. That's a big part of why I have problems with hyper games.
It's what I like. I feel like if when I do combos that require all of the buttons to be pressed in rhythm and shit like that, I feel like the controller is where I used, and that I also need to be on top of my game to be able to do it.
I think that this comes off as kind of a subjective thing, then, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, Pink, what's your take on this?
I have no idea. It's all fighting games.
Okay, okay. Let me put it simply then. Street Fighter, a combo is punch and then do special move. Marvel vs. Capcom combo is punch, kick, uppercut, punch, kick, super move. Which sounds better to you?
Probably the shorter, simpler one.
This is what Pink feels like right now. We don't need to put it up on the screen.
It's just numbers.
Yeah, it is just numbers.
It's got.
Oh my goodness, that looks like math.
It is math. Some of it.
Yeah, that looks scary. I want none of that. Thank you.
Are those fucking Guile block pressure combos or something?
No, this is from a game from like a mech fighting game.
Oh god, is it that fucking mech fighting game that Capcom made while they weren't working on Street Fighter?
The one with Akuma might be. Did that game have an MMO mechanic for every character?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it other than when Capcom wasn't making Street Fighter, they made weird shit like Red Earth.
Because they apparently I don't know which game this is from myself, but because it was just posted on Twitter with caption, "Can you figure out this game?" and one of the people sent the game's name, but I forget it. But basically, it's a mech fighting game, and everybody has ammo, which is what the counting is. It's like how much ammo you need to have to start the combo, and how much you'll have when you finish it, or something like that.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's something right there. That is.
But yeah, basically to the viewers, I just posted like word spaghetti.
Yes, number spaghetti.
More or less. Yeah.
There, like, people regarding fighting games want to talk, like, what's the main thing keeping people out? And everyone has a different take, and that really says a lot about fighting games.
Yeah.
Like, there are like 8 fucking gates to get through to get into fighting games. You have to really enjoy certain fighting games to power through. And you and I both have powered through a lot of the gates, but you and I are both still stuck out on a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah, namely this shit. I feel like this is what's keeping people away. The like the word tsunami. Just everything, everything, everywhere. Like, allow me to read a line. SWP times 3, CSW, GFDD plus SK, CWW, SSW, CSW. That's a combo.
That's
Like,
that's a big combo for big boys.
and it's like you know, I like watching sometimes like watching freaking like lab people could do big ass combos and shit. But like I see that it's when described it's like this, and I'm like, you know what? No, you know what? I just have my own combo with blackjack and hookers and like 2 hits.
See, now the question is, what lab combos do you like to see? Because there are some combo videos where it's just punch kick, punch kick, punch kick, punch kick, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I don't care. But then there's like fucking Mortal Kombat 9 Cyrax videos. And that's the crazy shit right there, let me tell you.
The one that stuck with me, because that's the one I watched most recently, like a couple of months ago. I looked up Johnny combos because I was like, you know what, I might as well learn this character. And then I saw the combo video and I was like, you know what, I might as well not learn this character.
Yeah.
But basically, what the guy did is that, well, there are the tactical coin for one.
Oh god,
which is fair.
The coin needs to be used in this combos?
But not just that, because I can use the coin somewhat. Like, it's the thing is, I read this theory that was originally applied to golf, but it actually applies to fighting games as well, possibly. There's this theory that you have 2 like brain functions working at the same time when you play fighting games. You have the active brain and you have the passive brain. The active brain tries to tell your passive brain what to do, and the passive brain knows what to do. And so what you need to do is to figure out this struggle between the 2 of them so that they can work in tandem.
The trouble being that there are multiple ways of playing fighting games that vary differently from player to player. I've mentioned to you guys the theory that Core Gaming had, right, of heart, body, and mind.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, that's a big difference there, because someone like Daigo, who is, like, not putting as much thought into the match as, say, Infiltration. And no one's putting as much thought as Infiltration into having an affair, and beating their wife, or something like that. But,
yeah.
Oh god, it sickens me that he still sometimes pops up in fighting game news. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, nobody cares. You're an ass. Get the fuck out.
I think it's very telling of the quality of the freaking like big esports players that we have now. That like I know who Daigo is. I know who JDCR is. I know who Punko is. I never heard of Infiltration.
Infiltration, you've heard of him, you just didn't remember him because he's not very charismatic.
It's possible, yeah.
He is the legendary guy who is an Akuma main, but midway through fucking Evo for Street Fighter 4, he whipped out Hakan because he was losing to someone who knew all of his Akuma plays. So he just switched to Hakan midway. And Hakan is Hakan, so you're aware of, like, what a weird choice that is.
Yeah.
Like, I could not think of a more different character from Akuma than fucking Hakan. What a fucking weirdo, right? And at the time, everyone was like, holy shit, this guy, like, is playing 200 IQ plays here. And then the variety of things came out about him, and it turned out he wasn't so cool. Whoops.
But yeah, like that's why I like combo freedom in video games, in fighting games rather, because like it does most of the time result in what we're seeing on the screen, but like you don't have to follow that. You're not. you don't have to do freaking standing whirlpool punch or whatever it is 3 times necessarily. If you can figure out a better way to go about things that fits you better.
I mean,
And sometimes yeah,
it does depend on the game a great degree.
yeah. And so it's like sometimes with Street Fighter and like no, actually like Street Fighter is not as much of a Street Fighter 5 is not as much of a felon of this as MK11 is apparently.
Heh.
But like the thing that I don't like in fighting games is when everybody plays the same, and by which I don't just mean the characters. Like sometimes that's not an issue, but like I don't want to play as like I don't want to play like Daigo. I don't want to play as any of the other big people. Like I want to play as good as them, but I don't want to play in the same style, in the same manner, using the same moves.
Like the ideal of fighting games is a game where where it's not just everyone plays fast or everyone plays slow. Like some people play fast, some people play slow, some people play execution based, some people play psychologically. You know, some people pick a character that they just lab up all the best shit. Like the ideal of fighting games is to get to that place.
Yeah.
Which I can definitely agree. There are a lot of games that fumble that. Mortal Kombat 11, like, as much as I appreciate a lot of Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 11 is very, very zone heavy. And very, very neutral heavy. And some of the characters just aren't as aggressive as they should be. Like, Baraka is the most aggressive character in Mortal Kombat 11. Baraka's still not that aggressive.
Yeah, but Morocco is flags.
Flags, exactly. Which is a problem NetherRealm has always had. It was not as pronounced in 9 or X, where there's a lot more playstyle diversity. But, like, Pink, what are your memories of Injustice 2?
I remember a lot of Deadshot.
A lot of Deadshot. And still, if you weren't playing as Deadshot, if you weren't playing against Deadshot, there was still a lot of focus on just how does your character control the screen space.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any characters in Injustice, bar maybe Scarecrow, that were like distinctly get up in your face, get aggressive. And even Scarecrow still wasn't that aggressive. Like, can you think of anyone? Red Hood should have been that, but he had that weird fucking mind shit that didn't work.
Yeah. So, like, there were a lot of characters that could do very good getting up close and personal, but, you know, the Harley Quinns, Red Hoods, they still had all their projectiles.
Adam?
Oh no, Adam was the worst about the fucking zoning.
Yeah.
The only thing I knew...
maybe Firestorm as well.
The only thing I remember about Adam is his crouching animation.
Oh, well, when you're playing against Black Adam, you're going to be seeing a lot of your own crouching animation, so don't worry
No, not Black Adam. Adam. Like the guy that can... Yes,
Adam?
the guy who can become small.
I always forget he was even in that game. I'm going to be honest, Adam didn't get added to that game until, like, really when I stopped playing. Like, it's the same way for the Turtles. I got almost no time in with the Turtles.
So sometimes I want to buy the Injustice 2 for the Turtles, and then I'm like, but it's Injustice. But like, it's not like the issue isn't Injustice itself. It's the issue is NetherRealm.
I mean, like, NetherRealm has done really good fighting games in the past. Injustice 1, I'd say, was generally better than Injustice 2, like, especially after Deathstroke got nerfed. And Mortal Kombat 9 is a fantastic fighting game that Addy doesn't get to play.
Yeah. that I'm looking at right now on my freaking home screen that it doesn't start up.
Like, it's actually really sad that you keep saying, like, you want combo freedom. Mortal Kombat 9 has the most combo freedom I've ever seen in a fighting game. Like, Mortal Kombat 9 is the ultimate game of just stepping in and being like, wait, that fucking combos? Are you serious? Oh, sweet Jesus.
But the thing is, like, I can have fun with prepackaged combos and shit like that, but like, I want for me to have fun with them, I need to have them be available as tools instead of actual combos themselves. Like Zeku. Zeku in his young form has a combo that starts off with all of the punches, but then ends with a kick. At least from what I can tell, I don't freaking know why my inputs aren't crisp. But basically, it's like in this 2 or 3 hit combo where he launches you, and then if you press kick, then there's a follow up kick, and you can put that in as a combo ender. So I'm fine with that. Lee Chaolan has a 3 hit combo or something like that in Tekken, where you do down 3 or down 2, which is his like most well-known juggle move. You do that, and then that flows into a kick that can like twist people and make them go into boundary 7 or whatever the 7 equivalent is.
Yeah.
And so it's like that Lee's combo I'm fine with, because it's a combo on its own that I can do when people are on the ground, yes, but I can also throw people into the air, and if I can time it right, then it's also a juggle too.
Yeah. Tekken's a weird one. Because Tekken is very restrictive with its combos at low level. And then you see the high level players and you're like, what the fuck?
I also kind of want more juggling in fighting games.
Well, then why don't you play NetherRealm games? They're all juggling. Like, did you play Injustice?
Yes. I actually played both of them.
No, I know you played both of them. I played Injustice 2 against you. You whooped my ass, remember? You played nothing but Green Arrow?
Was that the first one or the second one?
I
The second one
I don't think I was there for one of the sessions.
I remember playing the second one with y'all. I don't remember playing the first one, but we might have played the
I
first
remember
one.
we tried to play the first one and it kept disconnecting us.
Oh right, yeah.
Injustice 1 is also really bad about region locking.
But there's also
I remember I was actually supposed to play multiplayer of Injustice 1 back in the day with Monkey Wool and Joey, but it wound up just being me and Joey because Monkey Wool is English. Thanks, Ed Boon. It's your fault. It's all your fault.
There's also this thing that I can't quite explain that makes me dislike or like video games. That is like this profound thing of the controls, how they feel. Like,
well, they can be explained, but like you gotta put in the work and all
yeah,
kinds of shit. Like
I just haven't been able to put it into words properly yet. But like the reason I dislike freaking like Shadow of War and Uncharted is because yes, they have similar animations to Assassin's Creed, but the climbing doesn't feel the same or like similar. It feels more stiff and rigid. It feels more like I'm on rails, and so I don't enjoy it as much.
God, that is still weird to me that your big thing with Assassin's Creed is parkour.
I'm really into parkour, like for real.
Like, no, I know, it's just weird to me, like, as a gameplay thing, you know?
Ah, yeah.
Like,
And then, yeah.
Then again, I think of Spider-Man games, and, like, it's a perfectly valid thing to dislike a Spider-Man game because web swinging doesn't feel good in it.
Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from. Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
And then, it's the same with fighting games. Like, I like Tekken because I feel free and all that shit. Like, it still can be restrictive sometimes, but that's just because, 3D animations, they need to play out. You can just immediately step back from having turned around because it would look like shit.
Yeah.
But then like with Guilty Gear can do snapping and stuff like that. So Guilty Gear feels like a similar level of freeness to me that like Tekken. It also has a shit ton of juggling. Used to have a shit ton of juggling with Rev, but yeah.
Oh, you count air combos as juggling?
Oh no, how I do air combos is juggling.
Oh. Okay, that's very unusual for Guilty Gear.
Yeah. I'm not really good at following people and shit like this, so I just let them fall to my fist and then I throw them back up. It's a thing. It can be done. But yeah.
I wasn't doubting you. I wasn't sitting there like, bullshit! Addie's fucking lying to me!
But yeah.
You won't piss down my back today!
And then it's like Street Fighter has doesn't have as much snapping as Guilty Gear does, which is understandable because cloud physics exist. And but like the gameplay doesn't feel like the controls as I press them don't feel as free to me. And then NetherRealm just it's bad. Like at that point I can't explain why I don't feel like it's good, but it doesn't feel good to actually be pressing buttons, to be doing moves. It
I
just feels like the closest thing to putting it into buttons, freaking hell, putting it into words is the thing that people brought up against WWE 2K, whichever one I forget, which is that it doesn't feel like I'm doing the moves. It feels like I'm pressing the buttons and then the animations play out.
I
That's the
think
closest. Yeah.
I think one of the proper ones is just to say that like that feeling can be present when games have really long startup on animations. So it feels like there's a big delay between when you press the button and the move actually comes out. And I'm bringing that one up because that's the problem I have with Dark Souls 1. And they actually did not have that in Dark Souls 2 and 3.
So what you're saying is that I should skip Dark Souls 1 if I want to play a Dark Souls game.
I think you should play Bloodborne.
I I'm not that into freaking Rich Abominations. Like I'm more into it than Dark Fantasy, but yeah.
Well, there's a lot of Victorianism here, too.
True.
Also, werewolves, they're cool.
Oh yeah.
Not when they're the enemy, and you don't have silver on you.
There's actually not very much use of, like, specifically silver. You know what beasts are weak to in Bloodborne?
What?
Serrated edges.
Oh,
So, like,
so the beasts are made of bread.
Understandable.
yeah. Yeah, I guess, bread. They also don't like fire, but that's just kind of a general dog thing, so.
I mean, that's just a general living thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You can wave that around in front of Squidface McGee, and he won't give a shit. I have seen the eyes of God. This does not compare. Alright.
But
I
yeah,
am curious, like,
yeah.
do you think that accurately, like, summarizes what you might be part of the problem with NetherRealm games for you?
Startup.
Startup.
I mean, it's
like,
possible.
There's
yeah.
no fucking startup in Guilty Gear. Like even
There's minimal startup.
like even the heavy attacks in Guilty Gear that are just about as fast as a jab in any other game.
Yeah, it's like Johnny is really slow for Guilty Gear standards. I'm pretty sure if Johnny were to freaking go into Street Fighter, he would be like 50 S's rank.
Oh yeah, any of the Guilty Gear characters brought into Street Fighter would be fucking ridiculous, except maybe Potemkin.
Well, Johnny is the slowest down grab character that I could think of. Like, of course, Potemkin is slower, but Potemkin is also Zangief.
Well, Zangief's crazy good in Street Fighter 5, so
True.
I guess that's not too bad. I'm trying, like, Mortal Kombat 9 is definitely the fastest in terms of startup. Like, Mortal Kombat X loved its big combos, but it also still had pretty long startup on most animations, so it was just kind of weird in a regard like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think of it. Is there any examples outside of NetherRealm I can really think of long startup on most attacks? Like, how fast is a jab in Street Fighter? Is it 3 frames, 4?
I don't know about frame data, dude. Like, I usually like, and I don't necessarily avoid it, but I don't go and find that either.
Okay.
I do frame data by feeling, which is good for now. When I need to switch, I'll switch.
Because I know for sure, I definitely remember this, that at least in Injustice 2, I remember it distinctly being a thing that every character's crouching jab was 5 frames. But I feel like the average jab in Street Fighter is 4. Or 3.
I'll look it up. Give me a sec.
Like, you just need to look up frame data on Ryu and you'll be fine. But yeah, I think that might be part of the issue. And that is something I've always noticed in Mortal Kombat as well. And Pink, have you ever noticed a feeling in Injustice like sometimes your moves feel disconnected from you? Did you ever notice
Not that I can recall immediately.
Right, crouching low.
Yeah.
Yeah, crouching low is 4 frames startup, and then 7 frames recovery.
Okay.
At the same time, though, I have like when compared to you guys, I have no experience with fighting games. So anything that may seem off to you in Injustice wouldn't feel so to me because that would have been the only fighting game I was playing at the time, and would have been the only fighting game I had started playing in like 6 or 7 years.
You know what? An example just popped into my head.
What?
Soul Cal 4.
I didn't play 4, so I
Right.
can't comment on it.
But Soul Cal Pink, wouldn't you say Soul Cal 4 just felt really off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't have much time with it because I never owned it, but yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason I never owned it.
Come to think of it, I think that's why. Because Soul Cal 4 felt very off with how it was paced and how it timed things. I think that might have been it. That's weird to think about because that's something that always bugged me for years. That like I couldn't explain why I had issues with Soul Cal 4. I think that might be it because like I remember that being a distinct thing I noticed with Soul Cal 5 and 6 is like holy shit every move starts up instantly now. What the fuck? And I don't know if you guys noticed that in your time with 6.
Oh, I noticed.
Yeah, it like things in 5 do not fucking telegraph. So I think that might be a big part of it there. Like, I know that strategically speaking, having moves have more startup is a definite choice for like gameplay design. It can encourage people to counter each other more instead of just being, baiting moves out, waiting for them, and then punishing. Like countering it more instead of punishing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I think it's a risk that may not be entirely worth it. Because it does always seem like games that have long startup don't feel as good. They don't feel as responsive.
Yeah.
Like, they're often games that people accuse of having input lag when they don't actually. Like, that's a thing I notice pretty often as well. Because Dark Souls 1, like, when I've looked up Dark Souls complaints in the past, people have said, like, the game feels like I'm playing underwater. There's a lot of input lag. But no, there's almost no input lag, actually. It's just that everything in Dark Souls 1 has insane startup. That's interesting to me. That, like, frame data, something that otherwise people would consider just nerd shit only good for pros, can have such a major impact.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff does really matter.
Who knew?
Weirdly enough, yeah.
Yeah. Turns out, big picture made out of small pictures. Really, big picture is a mosaic, honestly. Alright. Did you do anything else this week? Jesus Christ, we sat on that topic for fucking ever.
Yeah. I also got my ass handed to me in Puyo Puyo Championship. Or Champions.
That's competitive Tetris, right?
No. It's competitive freaking Dr. Mario.
I don't know the difference.
What is the difference?
Tetris uses tetraminos to, have the shapes and shit. Dr. Mario has
Pills.
Dr. Mario has pills that you need to match the colors of. Puyo Puyo is like Dr. Mario if Dr. Mario was harder. Because Puyo Puyo not only has colors to match, you also need to match 4 of them, which I don't remember if it was a part of Dr. Mario. And then
It was.
okay, then that was. And then also there's also like weird shapes that they can come out in. It's not always just a block of color or 2. It can on the harder levels it can be like a large four piece block of color. Also, there's this one block of yellow next to it that's coming out with it.
At the harder levels, it's Dr. Mario and Tetris.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's actually an amusing idea to think about. Games that get harder by just making themselves into other games.
The thing is, like, Puyo Puyo did have a crossover with Tetris recently, so you know.
I mean,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But yeah, so I played a bit of it against the AI because I was like, it's a puzzle game. I don't mind puzzle games. So, you know, I'll give it a chance. The AI destroyed me so hard.
Oh yeah, puzzle game
Just,
AI, competitive puzzle game AI does not fuck around.
like, you know, I expected it to be like, well, because it's like all colorful and like, you know, it looks like it was made for children. So I was like, well, maybe it gets really hard on the like harder levels and shit like that. No, you can't even set a difficulty. There's only a how much shit do you want thrown at you. Select.
Which the AI is going to put up with better than you anyways.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, because you don't choose difficulty, you choose how fast do you want to get like blocks and stuff like that. If you choose easy or like the easiest difficulty, you barely get blocks, so you can't do combos. So the AI will overwhelm you with rubbish blocks. If you choose the harder
I
difficulties,
choose
then you
not to
get
have big combos, and the AI is like, jabs it is.
yeah. And then if you choose the harder difficulties, then obviously you get overwhelmed. At least I'm not a smart person, so I get overwhelmed.
Well, you're
But
smarter
anyway,
than you're smarter than the average person.
I don't know.
No,
I don't
no,
have
you're smarter
yeah.
than the average person. I think all three of us in this room are pretty much guaranteed to be smarter than the average person. I always
But
love
like
that fucking quote from oh shit, what's his name? The guy that played the time traveler in Bill and Ted. Oh fuck. The cynical comedian, the asshole. That describes so many comedians.
yeah.
Damn it, whatever. But there's the comedian that fuck, I can't remember his name, which is really bad because he's one of the most famous comedians of all time. Okay, whatever. He once said, "Think about how stupid the average person is. Then realize that 50% of the world is dumber than that." I'll think of his name by the time we're done recording. Fuck me.
But yeah, so Puyo Puyo, like, boy, I I don't know where to start. The characters exist. They're basically just
Characters.
freaking yes. You can choose to play characters because this game isn't actually a game. It's two. It's two games as well as being a third different game.
What the
Because
fuck?
because Puyo Puyo Champions doesn't have its own quote unquote gameplay style. Instead, you get to choose between playing like Puyo Puyo 2 or playing like Puyo Puyo Fever. Which the difference is Puyo Puyo 2 is more classical, and Puyo Puyo Fever adds a bar that you can fill up with doing combos. And this is where exciting characters comes into play, because with the classical mode, the characters don't do shit. They're just there to be art on the freaking board. In Fever mode, which character you choose can change what the board does if you can do combos when you get into the Fever mode.
Okay.
Because like some characters are favor short combos, some characters favor long combos, some characters are glass cannons where if you do long combos then they just kill everyone immediately, but if you can't do long combos then they die. And then there's just characters who are like you cannot be hit by other characters special attacks like such
Okay.
and stuff like that. So there's other part of strategy to it, to the fever mode, aside from just the overall freaking Dr. Mario.
Heh.
And then once again, the overall Dr. Mario is also can get pretty freaking hard.
Heh.
Overall, it's an okay game. Like I don't know how much it costs, but like I probably wouldn't buy it. But that's just because I'm not good at these types of games. Like people who are really good on these puzzle games, just like watching them play these games is like magic to me. Like there's this guy who is on YouTube. I think the video title is like Tetris God or something. This Japanese dude who is so good at I think it's like Arika who made the Tetris version that they're playing or something like that. He's so good at Tetris that basically the second that a pixel of a Tetramino shows up on the screen, it's already on the ground. And there's this part of that game where you have to play Tetris blinded because during the credits, pieces still fall, but you just can't see them. And the guy manages to do freaking like the guy his end screen, because they show you how you ended if you win that part. His end screen looks like what mine does on easy.
Okay.
So yeah, basically, people who are really good at these games are freaking
Big dick ballers.
just yes, they are on a different level of existence.
They have ascended.
Yeah.
They have reached the knowledge that man was not meant to reach.
Then you also have Then I also had also played and recorded actually Tabs.
Tabs, yes. Pink, have you downloaded Tabs yet?
I didn't know it was up yet.
It is. It went up yesterday.
But you need to search for
Alright.
you need to
I
search
wasn't
for
really
something
alive
Game
yesterday,
Pass
so
Tab.
that's my bad.
Yeah. So, all right. Tabs, your favorite unit other than Uller?
The Reaper. It's
Ooh.
so overpowered. It's so overpowered.
It is. I've not got to play with the Halloween set very much. I've been busy since they released the Halloween set.
Basically most of the gameplay that I recorded was me going Reaper also Skellies.
Oh.
And they just sending that, like, after a while I was like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do the Reaper because it's overpowered, but I still sent out Skellies.
Oh man, if you set it to allow you to play with all the units, like some of the secret units are even more broken than the Reaper.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get all of them, but I got the take one though. I got the Shinobi or the freaking the Ninja Master. Don't remember what the new name is, and also the Shogun.
Did you get the Chokuno?
Not yet.
Cause that character was fucking broken at release.
Boy.
I think he's still good, but like it's a machine gun. It's an honest to god medieval machine gun.
Oh.
They can't do anything. He wipes so many units for his price. They did nerf him, but I don't know if it was strong enough to actually stop him. And he's cheap too, so you can get like a dozen of him.
Oh. And they're also gonna be adding freaking modern machine gun units.
They
I
probably
think.
will, because they were in the beta, but I don't know like when they would. Like,
Yeah,
where the fuck would they fit in now?
I think they said that they would be putting them into the secret tab.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess, but like at what stage of updates? Because there's still 2 more actual factions that are going to come out. They haven't finished the faction count.
Ah.
There's one of the teaser images made it seem like one of the 2 is going to be Wild West. But we don't have any idea for the other.
Kappas.
Yes, obviously. And it's going to be even more wild. Like, I don't know how they'd be able to pull it off. They might be able to pull it off. But, oh, you know what? Actually, come think of it. So they're going to be adding a unit creator later, and it will come with community creations.
Oh.
Uh-huh. And people are going to be using that to make some wacky shit.
I'm gonna assume that freaking that's not gonna be coming to the Xbox version yet because it's still like pre-alpha or like pre-beta probably, something like that. It's a game preview.
I think it's in game preview because it's still technically in beta across all versions. To mine, if you have the Nightmare faction at all, then that means you're up to date with PC. Because the
Ah,
last update to PC was adding the Nightmare faction.
okay, then yeah, I'm up to date. Also, there's this weird thing with tabs where it has complete keyboard and mouse support, aside from the fact that you can't control the menus.
That is strange.
Yeah, like I can use it during gameplay to place units and stuff like that, but I can't control the menus at all.
That is very strange. All right.
So
Anything
yeah.
else?
Well, let's see. During the recording session, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try something that might break my Xbox. So I had a, I had a 40-minute, because it lagged so hard, 40-minute freaking showdown between 500 skeletons.
Yeah, you're bound to try that at some point. And like, there's wackier shit than that you can try, especially like with the mammoth and all that.
Well, yeah, but I just kind of wanted to have like a big war scene, and I was like, well, I hope frames will be at least in the freaking slow mo. No, the super slow mo ran bad. The super slow mo
Oh yeah,
ran bad.
oh yeah, I know. That's probably a big part of why it's in the PC beta program. I mean, the Xbox beta program. Because with PC, it's just like, well, you run as many as your PC can handle. But on Xbox, that's a unified fucking thing. So they better at some point just fucking figure out what stat, like what number of each unit causes the game to freak the fuck out and just place unit caps or something.
Yeah, and
Like,
so
that or
yeah.
just give the player complete freedom. I prefer giving the player complete freedom, but that's me.
I mean, I prefer complete freedom, but then also there's I prefer complete freedom, but also Minecraft has freaking overheated my Xbox 4 times. So you know,
How
like
far are you fucking exploring?
that's the weirdest part. This was on the old world that we blew up. Like I wasn't doing anything. I was building houses and shit. I was building set pieces,
Your
and
house
that's
was
what
too
over.
nice.
Yeah,
You shouldn't have put so much redstone in there.
yeah. I'm well known for using my redstone contraptions.
Yeah, that's why I had you build all the redstone shit in that map. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I built all of the redstone in that's why I built the actual freaking what was it?
The
The
fucking
level.
you built a running cabinet of Street Fighter 2.
Yeah. No, I was going to say that's why I built the level based lighting system in Doofenshmirtz Mansion.
Yeah, the one that totally didn't take 3 hours to get working.
Yeah.
1 hour of which was just fucking bug testing. I find redstone programming a lot of fun when I mess around with it, but really, I'm not very good, which says a lot about us that I'm the one who's the closest to being a redstone expert.
I mean, I just don't have a vibe for programming. I'm pretty sure we freaking figured that shit out when I couldn't really program in Java.
Yeah! I've never actually tried real programming. I considered trying modding Total War Warhammer, and I took one look at the fucking massive amount of files, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Freaking yeah.
Like, there are some people that I can understand people who get a kick out of programming. At the same time, what a fucking dead-end career.
You got out, so I didn't hear what you say.
Nah, it's fine. It wasn't that important
All right.
anyways. I was just making a small comment. Yeah, anything else? Oh god! Oh god!
I think that's it.
Alright. So, it was Souls Week for me this week. I beat Bloodborne. And I also immediately was like, well, might as well keep the trend going. So I started up Dark Souls 1 and Neo 2. Or not
You mean Neo 1?
Neo 1, whatever, fuck it. Has Neo 2 even released yet?
No, it's gonna be released in March.
Ha! Yeah, I played Neo 2.
Yeah,
I
you
told
know
my
what to
uncle at
you know what to
Nintendo.
get me.
Okay. Yeah, I've been playing Dark Souls and Neo. So, Bloodborne. I really, really had a good time with that game's finale. The game's ending is its best part, honestly. And I don't mean that in the, sarcastic, haha, the best part of the game was when it ended. I mean, genuinely, the final boss fight. Well, as soon
The
said,
semi-final boss
the
fight.
semi-final boss fight is fantastic. The final boss fight is there, really? That's it? That's the guy who caused everything? There's some...
A picture of Robotnik.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I guess there's kind of a lore explanation for why you can beat the final boss that easily, but my god, is he not what you were expecting. But, some of the fights there, I did finish the DLC as well, and supposedly the final boss of the DLC is one of the hardest Souls fights of all time, which makes me hopeful, because I beat it in 2 tries. Yeah, humble brag there, by the way. Oh, God! I'm also playing it right now, but I'm getting my ass beat by the Bloodstarved Beast. I'm podcasting right now, asshole. Don't play that hardball with me. Down, doggy, down! So, I am playing through Bloodborne a second time, partly because you need to get all 3 endings to get each fucking trophy, the Platinum Trophy.
Yeah, you're a nerd who wants to platinum it.
Yeah, I mean, platinuming a Dark Souls game, though, that's a fucking thing to brag about.
I don't know, dude. I freaking the only game I've come close to platinuming that wasn't Spider-Man freaking PS4, which just basically gives it away for free, was the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and Shrunken Heads happened. So
What is Shrunken Heads?
Shrunken Heads are
Oh, right, you've told me about
yeah,
this.
building
The
items,
fucking collectible
crafting
items.
items. Yes, the
Yes.
collectible crafting items.
Yeah, that was one of the most astounding instances I've ever heard of, a fucked up trophy being missable.
Yeah, so the thing is, to this day, I'll say the first game I 100% did is freaking Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, because that's the only thing I didn't have the third Shrunken Head. Otherwise, the save file legit said 99%. So that I'll count it.
Heh. Right. So, yeah, Bloodborne, I have had a fantastic time with. I'm seriously thinking it might be one of my new favorite games of all time. If you can avoid that fucking leveling crest. Whew. Just, vitality is your dump stat. Vitality is your dump stat. Health. It's important. And, the boss fights, though, the entire last string of boss fights, except for the final one, are all, very, very fast, back and forth boss fights that I had a really good time with. There's one boss fight that's just straight up Virgil. I think I mentioned her last week. And there's a lot of Virgil fights in the late game, which I don't know how much that appeals to Addy here. I know Virgil kicked your ass, Addy, but did you have a good time getting your ass kicked?
No.
Oh.
It's never a good time getting your ass kicked.
It was also a thing of I legit had to quit the freaking game and go into Bloody Palace to grind money to get more freaking gold orbs so I could even beat him, because my more or less went from easy to hard.
Oh, you played through the entire game on hard first?
No, I played through the entire game on easy.
Normal, that's what you did.
Yes.
Right, I remember you mentioning that. Right, that was an interesting choice.
So that's why I had a lot of issue with Virgil, because Virgil on easy, I beat him on the first try because it wasn't easy. Then I was like, I'll try hard, and hard wasn't that hard, I could deal with it. And then Virgil spawned in and just shot his sword up my ass.
That's what he do. Yeah, I can get where you'd have a problem with that. For my part, I just wouldn't fucking grind. I'd just play until I can beat him. Legit. Like,
I didn't want to. I didn't want to go through all of the freaking level because, like, I was stuck. I was stuck with Dante. That's the thing.
it's not a level. It's the Virgil fight is
I
the
don't.
level in
I
itself.
forget. Ah, I don't know why I freaking didn't quit. All right. I don't know. It might have been the freaking cutscenes if they're not skippable, but they probably were skippable. I don't freaking remember why I didn't just quit then.
Yeah, that's weird. That is weird to me.
Does his health not refill when you use it? You use it as an orb.
If you use a golden orb, no, his health does not refill.
Okay, that might be why.
Yeah, it's actually very simple. If you're using gold orbs or red orb respawns, you're just buying your way to victory. You fucking coward!
I mean, I don't, like before I got to Virgil, I had like 130 golden orbs.
I don't believe you.
I,
Like, if you lost 130 golden orbs on one fucking Virgil health bar, you need to retire.
I did.
I fucking don't believe you. You do not beat me in every fighting game and then say you fucking can't beat Virgil with 13 gold orbs on one health bar. That is bullshit, sir. That is some bull fucking shit. Because I have beaten Virgil without using any gold orbs on hard. I know that's bullshit.
Serious experience.
Bull fucking shit. We played Devil May Cry 5 at the same time, and I was at level 5 while you were at like level 8 or 9. You are better at Devil May Cry than I am.
I don't know about that. I'm better at going through Devil May Cry. I'm not better at being stylish. That's another thing. Like I'm good at freaking using the combo mechanics and stuff like that to my what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. Basically, I can use the combo mechanics to go through games fast, but I cannot like Devil May Cry is all about doing cool shit, and so the two don't necessarily do fulfill the same purpose.
Yeah, there are definitely some times in Devil May Cry where the most efficient way to do things is not the best way to do things. I killed this guy by using one move over and over again. I made no money. I am now poor. I am now in Devil May Cry poverty. But yeah, I finished Bloodborne. I'm playing through it again. Partly because I just want to try out different builds. This is part of the thing of getting good at a Dark Souls game is like, now I want to see what happens if I'm instead an asshole who throws fireballs. Or what if I use gun? And
you see, I don't have a similar issue with Neo.
Yeah. Right, but why would you? You love dual katanas and dual axes. Like, nothing else gonna appeal to you as much as they do.
I barely ever use the dual katanas. I use the Nodachi.
Oh, that's still a pretty different build. Because Nodachi's longer ranged, right?
Yeah, Nodachi. I think Nodachi has like the best or second best range, just aside from spears, maybe.
Right, and spears are just for poking. So.
Yeah.
I love when spears are just like lame poke weapons. Dark Souls.
I don't. I'm pretty sure spears only being lame poke weapons is the reason I dislike spears.
That's how they are, though. That's why they got. That's why they were replaced by halberds and pikes and shit.
Yeah, but like, it's just the lamest shit.
Yeah, it is the lamest shit. Like, fucking, if you play any of the
Sarada Yukimura makes spears look good.
Right, but his spear is a cross. It's not a spear, it's a fucking pole arm. Or a halberd.
It could be a pole arm.
Once
but
those
are the
extra shit on there, it's no longer a spear.
But there are the same type of spears that Yukimura spears are in Neo. They're still poking weapons, by the way.
Well, why the fuck would the guy not use, like, if it's got the shit on the sides, then you should be swinging it, not just poking it.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
That's an interesting choice.
I wish spears didn't suck. I wish they looked cool.
Here's one thing about Bloodborne that I think might be a problem if you ever played it. Is, So here's the thing. There's one stat, Blood Tinge, that is regarded as the most difficult stat to build on. Because Blood Tinge primarily just helps guns. Guns don't do that much damage. The point of guns is to get parries, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. The late game Blood Tinge weapon is the game's katana. There is a katana you can get in Bloodborne, but it uses Blood Tinge as its stat. And it's one of the only 2 or 3 weapons in the entire... One of the only 2 or 3 melee weapons in the entire game that uses Blood Tinge. So if you wanted to play Bloodborne and get yourself a katana, you'd be spending a long time shooting motherfuckers.
The weirdest thing in a video game that I have found so far was how Oblivion, and just the Elder Scrolls series apparently, has katanas for whatever reason. I find it to be the stupidest thing. Like, I was like...
Oh, I think it's rad.
Like, I don't know, dude.
I love seeing the various types of ancient or medieval warfare mixing in. I love seeing samurai versus knights, you know? That's part of what was cool about For Honor.
I don't know, because like, I'm very firmly on the side of samurai. Like, I think that that they aesthetically look very pleasing.
Well,
and I can say the same about knight.
Yeah.
I can say the same about knights for me on a personal level.
Vikings, it differs. Your classic knights with the horned helmets and the little buckler shields and the little short swords, nah, none of that. Don't give me.
Yeah, they look lame.
Like, Vikings are good when they're wild, crazy people charging in shirtless with axes.
So freaking oh, I forget his name. The guy from Warhammer.
There's lots of guys from Warhammer. You're gonna have to be more specific. That is a very wide pool. Shirtless guys, crazy people with axes in Warhammer.
The dwarf dude who's playable. The dwarf dude who's playable in Vermintide.
Oh yeah, the dwarves love that shit. The Slayers. Otherwise, the dwarves love to cake themselves in armor.
Like, I wanted to call him Gimli, but that's just because I called him Gimli when we played.
Oh, I don't remember his name. Fuck me. Whatever. But yeah, Elder Scrolls, actually, that is a thing. Like, Elder Scrolls is weird because it's got a lot of really cool lore stuff. But what you see in the games is boring fantasy. Like, Oblivion, oh, we're kind of vaguely European, vaguely Roman Empire. Skyrim, Vikings. And, like, they rarely, if ever, bring up that there is a Elder Scrolls Japan out there on the ocean that at one point staged a massive invasion of Tamriel that fucked shit up majorly, and some of the people have actually still held on to samurai armor and katanas.
Ah, so that's why they're there.
Yes. Also, aliens.
Okay, you lost me. The thing is, yeah.
There used to be like 9 different varieties of elf, too. God, the Elder Scrolls lore is weird.
But like the thing is, like, I used to watch, and I still sometimes watch if I come across an interesting video about it. But like, I used to watch freaking like Elder Scrolls story discussions and stuff like that because like the world was interesting and stuff like that, and things. But like then I played Skyrim, and then I played Oblivion. Then I played Oblivion, and then I played Skyrim, and I was like, you know what? I don't care anymore.
I could play Skyrim again one day, but I'd have to mod it into fucking mod it into fucking something else.
Mod it to be Devil May Cry.
Like, with Bethesda's...
I would play that. I would play that.
I would too, but Bethesda's infamously derpy animations doing Devil May Cry stuff. Like, you're doing a fucking launcher uppercut, but your character's legs still animate as if they were on the ground.
You have one launcher. It's T-posing. You do a Mario spin.
Oh yeah, and it plays the Zangief noise for some reason. Oh, that's priceless.
But yeah.
There is definitely I've definitely seen a Skyrim mod that is mostly designed to turn it into Dark Souls, though it was not entirely successful. Most of what it did was just made it so that stamina was a bit more of a limited resource. Which is fine, because in default Skyrim, stamina is literally only used for sprinting. Maybe I should play Skyrim again sometime and see how much of it I properly remember. At the same time, I don't care that much. Unless it'll get me into an argument with Mike.
Can we agree that stamina systems 90% of the time suck?
It depends on the game.
That's why I said 90%.
Like
Most of the times they suck. There's like a game that uses it good.
which games are you talking about? Because, I think in survival games, it's really bad, generally.
You cut out after survival games.
You didn't need to hear any more, honestly. It was just, I would generally consider survival games to be one of the big examples.
Well, let's see. I feel like it's a cheap form of difficulty in Souls-like games. I feel like it didn't fit in Legend. I feel like it didn't fit into Legend of Zelda with freaking Skyward Sword. I don't like basically most iterations of it in any game. There's there's you have it's really rare for me to like stamina systems in a video game.
But it works really well in Bloodborne. At least partially because, stamina isn't terribly useful from the very beginning, so people don't invest in it as much as they do health. But some people, you might want to invest in it because it just lets you do big, crazy combos. Souls, I think, is a little more guilty of stamina being that not terribly useful, though. Souls, I think the stamina system mostly exists there so you can't just block infinitely. Because if you're carrying a semi-strong shield in Dark Souls, you don't take any chip damage at all. It's only dealt as damage to your stamina.
Okay, that's a trade-off that I'm fine with.
Souls does it very strangely. And that you can either drain stamina by blocking or by dodging. Either way, it directly avoids damage. And then there's parrying, which just ignores the stamina system altogether, of course, because it's parrying. But, I do think, sometimes Souls doesn't handle it well, yeah. There are times where it just feels like it's mandatorily ending your combo to prevent you from getting in good damage. Oh, God. I'm doing fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Alright.
This time it isn't the cat! Okay.
That we're
It's a
aware
dog.
of.
Thankfully, there are no cat enemies in Bloodborne. Oh, no! It's fine. Okay, enough of that LP commentary. I think when the stamina is used as a combat system instead of just a system to prevent you from sprinting, when it's just there to prevent you from sprinting, that's when it's a fucking pain. That's when it's shit.
I feel like it even as a part of the combat system, most games don't get it right.
It's a delicate balance, definitely. Souls, it's intricately balanced in a lot of the Souls games, and you can tell, where the early game levels, your character almost always suspiciously has enough stamina to get a combo to bring an enemy down to 25%, but not enough stamina to kill them in one combo. You know, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
They worked this out specifically to be this way. But there are definitely a lot of games where it's not really put that much thought into. It's just kind of there to make it feel more realistic or something. Something like that, you know.
Yeah, my realisms.
My realisms. Yeah. That was actually one of the few flaws I would say that the Forest had. Was its stamina system. Did it have a stamina system? Am I getting it confused with, hunger or something?
It definitely had a hunger system.
Oh,
And
yeah.
a cold or freezing dying system.
Oh, the cold system. That's what it was. Yes. If you were cold, your character lost stamina constantly, as if they were poisoned.
Oh.
Yeah, that fucking sucked. That sucked so much balls. Do you remember how many times... it was really bad, because if you went swimming, it guaranteed meant you were getting cold.
Yep.
And there were so many times when we were going through the caves that I just had to be like, alright, well, I brought sticks specifically so that I could fucking build a fire in the cave. after I go swimming, just so I wouldn't be
Yeah.
cold anymore.
Thank God you can set fire to those wet sticks.
Yep. It's
Like the
fine.
thing,
I hid them in my ass so they won't get wet.
like the thing with freaking realistic games is that like where do you draw the line? Like what are you willing to sacrifice to make it realistic? What part of gameplay?
What contributes to gameplay versus what doesn't?
Yeah, it's like a guy. I saw a video where a guy was like raising a point about how well. You see, that Stranding is good because it has a pissing mechanic, and that's the more realistic. Because how many times have you thought to yourself, man, wouldn't Link need to take a shit or piss?
That kind of person is the worst kind of person.
Yeah.
The person who is sitting there watching a movie and thinking, man, I haven't seen anyone take a shit in this movie, is like, are you 5? Like, whatever. Like, when it amusingly enough, Death Stranding, I actually would say pissing does contribute to the gameplay, because that is, for some reason, your primary weapon. God knows how or what inspired Hideo Kojima to do that, but it is. And I think there are certainly examples like, there are a lot of games where having a food system is a fucking pain, right? But the forest, it's a vital part of the gaming experience. Because, oh god.
Oh, yeah.
Because, Pink, you've seen the forest. Like, what is the primary purpose of hunger at the end of the day in forest? Narratively.
That's an act.
To make you desperate enough to eat people.
Or to eat bunnies. Where do you draw the line as a human?
Yeah,
Cannibalism or bunnies?
I drew the line first at cannibalism. Bunnies comes after. Because what is like a big focus of the story of the forest? You becoming just as bad as the denizens. But they don't force it on you. They just offer a lot of choices where, boy, wouldn't it be convenient if I ate this person.
I forgot cannibalism was a thing.
Oh, yeah. It's in the game.
That's like one of the first things they tell you.
It's in the game and it's super strong, too. Because guess what you're doing a lot of in that game? Killing people.
You're right.
So it'd be really convenient to just chop them up and eat them, too.
It's an endless supply.
Like, when we were considering doing that game multiplayer, I was like, one of the things I outright said was, Addy is guaranteed to be the first out of us to fall to cannibalism. It's just too convenient to pass up. Like, Addy, you have a choice between either being a good person or ignoring the entirety of the food mechanic. Which is your choice?
Ignoring the food mechanic, definitely.
Yeah.
There are points at which being a good person isn't worth it.
Oh, like, that's a thing that doesn't happen enough in games that have morality systems. It's the thing that's always brought up about Bioshock, but Bioshock's biggest fucking cop-out as a game is the fact that being a good person ultimately turns out to be the more efficient choice. Like, you guys have heard about that, right? With Bioshock 1?
No, I did not.
So Bioshock 1 famously has where you can choose to either kill the little girls to get more of the level up points, or you can spare them and get less.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
But there's a fucking problem. There's an NPC that, if you spare little girls, will give you level up points, and it actually, in the end, adds up to being more level up points than you would have gotten for just killing them. And she gives you extra rewards on top of that. So it's actually way more productive to be a good person.
Right, you get more benefits that way than being the bad person.
And most games that have morality choice systems do that.
Which is completely false.
Yeah.
It should be quite reversed.
Being a good person's hard.
Yeah.
Why am I not smoking crack right now? That's probably awesome, but I'm not gonna fucking do it. Like KOTOR. Like, one of you has completed KOTOR at some point, right?
I don't think so. I have started like 5 playthroughs of KOTOR, but
But to my
Yeah.
I want to see if like you agree with this, but to my understanding, KOTOR has a problem where all of the light side force powers are way better than the dark side.
I actually didn't get far enough to start using force powers because I got bored by the like freaking first planet.
Me too. Me too. Oh, Pink, you didn't finish
Like-
KOTOR, did you?
I've never played KOTOR.
Oh God.
Like I own both of the KOTORs. I actually bought both of them because, well, good things and all that. But like, I don't have all of my life.
Yep. I mean,
and
BioWare RPGs aren't too bad for grinding, but like, still, RPGs are RPGs.
yeah, and so I got as far as to choosing my first force power, and I chose Force Lightning.
I didn't even get that far. But like,
I got yeah.
no, go ahead.
And my favorite was like, you get to choose your force power, or at least I did. With one of the NPCs going like, so I see you are getting starting to get your memories back. Given by your recent activities, it seems like you were helpful to the people around you. Will you help us as well? And I'm doing force lightning in my palm and going, yes, of course.
Wow, you were playing as Ray way ahead of your time.
Yes, I was way ahead of the curve. I was also freaking Albert from WWE. I actually genuinely made like that's the closest the character looked to anything. So I just made him actually be A-Train.
Fucking hell. Alright, well, that was someone.
Yeah, that was someone.
So, my understanding is KOTOR has the same problem where it's nice getting damage from the Dark Force stuff. But the Light Force stuff lets you heal your party members, which is way more rare and useful. And Pink, you played the first two Infamous games, right?
I played the first Infamous game.
Aren't the good side powers way, way better than the dark side powers?
Yeah.
Like, it's just... it's a thing that they all do. With some exceptions, except for the forest. And somebody is trying to knock down my fucking door here. Oh, Jesus. Oh.
It's a dog.
Oh, God. Hang
It's a
on, let
puppy.
me mute all my shit. I gotta mute all my shit. Like, there's a ton of stuff that needs to be...
Alright.
Oh, God. They're fighting.
Well then,
Well,
Pink.
then indeed.
what do we talk about? While I wait for W to return.
I don't know. We'll talk about Albert Raid Star Wars thing.
What?
Your character.
Alright. Well, nothing really happened. Cause like I didn't even help anyone. That's the thing. They acted like I was this big good guy, and all I did was just get like a team of people off of the like broken ship that you started
Right.
or something like that. I forget. And then I was like, I'm gonna return to this tomorrow, and then I never did.
I've done that with a lot of games.
Okay, that interruption was for the all-important purpose of asking me if I wanted Starbucks.
Did you?
Coffee is for the weak.
No, I don't drink coffee. I get frappuccinos. It's pretty
I don't
much
know
just,
the difference.
It's pretty much just a milkshake.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, all right. I'm
So
back.
yeah. While we were talking about the stamina system and all that, I remembered another gameplay mechanic that people like putting into, like, or at least liked putting into video games that they never got right. The weapon durability.
That's
That's where's the
also in
stamina.
Dark Souls. Also in Dark Souls.
Okay, I've never played Dark Souls. All right,
To be,
at least that's decided.
to be fair, it's the fucking problem with Souls is that they never tell you jack shit. It's not a problem. You can literally repair your item to full for like a penny at every single checkpoint in the game. The game just never fucking tells you that. Like, it's a weapon durability system that might as well not exist, because it's just press a button. Oh, durability's back up to max. Okay. And
yeah.
And in the forest, by the way, survival games, you expect them to be huge on weapon durability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the forest doesn't have any weapon durability of any kind. It's actually kind of ridiculous. You can be that fucking axe you get in the airplane at the very beginning of the game. You can be using it to kill the final boss.
Oh.
And not only that, the forest has all weapons are effectively equivalent. They're all side grades. So it's totally legit to just use that fucking axe to beat the final boss.
Wow.
What I'm saying here is I think you'd like Forest. I think Forest might be the only survival game you'd really like, Eddie. Also, you want to know how you upgrade the damage of all your weapons in that game?
How?
By gluing teeth to them.
Oh.
And you want to know how you upgrade the attack speed? By gluing bird feathers
legs.
to them.
By gluing legs to them.
Past a certain point, you aren't playing. You're just letting the axe go and fight the final boss itself.
Yeah.
I have built my axe a set of arms, legs, and a smaller axe for the axe to wield.
Freaking put glues googly eyes on the side of the X.
The axe is just saying, kill me. Not yet. Your work is not yet finished. Okay, right. So, yeah, I finished Bloodborne, had a real good time. I love the gameplay, I love the setting. Once you get over the hump on Bloodborne, it's really something. And then I started Dark Souls. Boy, Dark Souls is a different experience. For one thing, way fucking slower. Way fucking slower. For another thing, there is a different paradigm to building. In Bloodborne, your armor doesn't really matter that much. It affects what resistances you have against certain damage types, but for the most part, when you're picking your armor setups in Bloodborne, you are doing it for style. You are doing it because you like the look of this armor set better than that. In which case, good on you, because Bloodborne has some fantastic armor designs. And there are lots of options, especially once you get the fucking DLC. But in Dark Souls, it is a serious thing to pick armor, because of the existence of a weight system. Now, the carry weight system is not an inventory limiter. It's not Elder Scrolls. You can carry an infinite amount of items. The carry weight system, what functions is everything that you have equipped, all armor that you're wearing and all weapons that you have in weapons, all weapons that you have in weapon slots, add on to your weight statistic.
Also, it works like Neo.
Yes. Oh, I've not seen that in Neo yet. Oh, yes, I have, actually. It's different than Neo, though. Because what Neo does is Neo simply makes it where if you're heavier, then blocking is more effective, and you might armor through certain attacks. You might no-sell them. But it also makes dodging spend more stamina. Dark Souls handles it a little bit differently. So not only does doing more things spend more stamina, but really what it does is, if you have heavy armor, you take less damage and you have higher poise. Poise in this case meaning your capability to armor through certain attacks. Which means that there are some people who have built late game Dark Souls and they are running around as the biggest fat boys in the biggest armor possible, carrying massive fucking Titan shields that are bigger than they are. And they just take a hit square to the face from a fucking giant. No reaction. Which is impressive to look at, honestly, and I'm considering trying it in a little bit. But for now, I'm going the complete opposite direction. Because if you are beefed up in armor, your character has the most hilarious dodge roll I have ever seen. I don't think it should qualify as a dodge roll. Your character dives forward, eats shit, and then scrambles back up. and it has almost no invincibility frames. And it is fucking hilarious when one of the big fat armor sets does it. Have you guys ever seen the Onion Knight in Dark Souls?
I think so.
Oh,
Sounds
you need to see the Onion Knight. You'd love him, Pink. He is one of the epitomes of your aesthetic. Hang on, here we go. Here we go. This is an action figure of him, but whatever, fuck it. Let me get a timestamp. Oh god, no, don't open the editing software. Fuck. All right, well, that's
Too late.
The podcast is gonna get it. The podcast is gonna get it while being recorded.
All right. Behold.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
He's fantastic. I love him. And like when he dodge rolls, he just eats shit so hard. So you just don't dodge roll. You just eat fist and don't care.
Rolling is not an option for the big boys.
God, I fucking love it. There's actually an old awkward zombie comic that I love that fits very well for it. Have you guys ever read the awkward zombie web comics?
No.
I have not.
Okay, I think I have got it actually right here that I can just pull right up. But here we go. I'll be another timestamp. It's been a hot minute since I've had to throw in fucking stuff in the middle of a video. Ah, shit. Whatever, close enough. It's basically this.
I probably have seen those. Yeah, I actually think I've seen that actual comic once before.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, I guess that's a way of playing the game. And the complete alternative is instead to strip naked, because clothes are a burden. I am stronger without them. And then you go and you find Lunch Lady Dolores and you ask her if she's got any grease. But, Mike, the fucking builds in Dark Souls are the dumbest. And the world looks really cool in a lot of parts. And some of the lore is really cool, and that's the end of my praise for the game. 'Cause game's fucking slow! And I get that, like, they wanted to make it a more deliberate thing. So every attack's got tons of startup for both you and the enemies, and it is fucking ridiculous on some of the enemies. Like, that you have not seen telegraphing until you have seen Dark Souls telegraphing, let me tell you. Like, you will be on the other side of the map and you will receive a fucking message. Skeleton Warrior has started up his sword slash. Like, boy, am I gonna block this? But it makes a system where everything feels awkward and floaty. And there's one thing that really fucking bugs me about Dark Souls. It has got very, very strong input buffering. So, Addy, you know what input buffering is, right?
I think so.
It is when a move is going on, and then you input the next move, and the game will carry out that move after the current move is done, right?
Yeah, yes.
See, you want to be fairly balanced there, because if input buffering isn't strong enough, then people are going to have to just mash out inputs, which isn't nice. But if the input buffering is too strong, then you are going to be trying to react to shit that happened a year ago. And that happens a lot in Dark Souls. Because while input buffering happens for stuff like combos and it ain't so bad, it also happens for dodge rolls. And also, it does not account for when the camera has changed. Or rather, sometimes it reacts too well to how the camera has changed. So there are a lot of times in Dark Souls where you mash the circle or B button to get the fuck out of the way of an incoming attack. And in the meantime, because you dodge roll, your camera perspective changes. So your character then dodges in the direction that was inputted and then dives headfirst off the roof of the building you're fighting on top of. Or even worse, dodges into the enemy attack.
Nice.
And
Sometimes that... Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Sometimes that happened to me with Neo, but that might be a controller failure because of
Yeah.
And
Oh.
also it's a thing of it's not buffering itself. It's that sometimes it felt like the direction that I pushed the directional the D-pad. Yes, definitely played Neo with the D-pad, but the analog stick.
Is that possible?
No, the D-pad is the items. Freaking the analog stick. I sometimes it felt like it didn't get picked up when I pushed it.
I didn't notice that much in Neo. Neo felt like it was very crisp
It's
with its.
it's it's a rare occurrence.
Yeah, yeah. Like Neo was very crisp with its controls. Not as crisp as Bloodborne, but crisper than Dark Souls. But like the fact that I can mash the fucking button and then my character will be dodge rolling for the next century, like even if it doesn't cause me to eat shit, it still looks fucking stupid that my character's just rolling until he runs out of stamina. The fucking structuring. There is some stuff in this game that I swear only FromSoft could get away with. So, I've mentioned Blighttown in the gaming tab on Discord. I want
Yeah.
to mention the area before Blighttown is the depths. The depths aren't that bad, except for one enemy called the Basilisk. Now, the Basilisk has a very interesting design that I actually quite like. And that's one thing about Dark Souls. Fantastic character designs, fantastic enemy designs. Very strange, very unique. They think up shit no one else would. Like the Basilisk, which is a frog, but it has a chicken's head. It's got a beak and a massive gizzard, and it's got two gigantic chicken eyes. It's fucking weird. And the enemy does almost no damage, except for one attack it has where it breathes smoke. If you sit in the smoke for longer than a second, you die. And not only that, it applies the curse effect to you. Now, what curse does is it causes you, whenever you respawn going forward, you get half health.
Well, that's not good.
Until you buy a certain very expensive item or find an NPC that is in a way higher leveled area. Oh, and also, it actually used to be worse. They patched it after a lot of complaints, because Dark Souls 1 at launch, curse stacked.
So
Oh boy.
so you started with no life for what?
It eventually gets to the point where your character has an eighth or perhaps even worse of their health. Which
Boy.
would mean everything in the game at that stage kills you in one hit. Everything. What the fuck? I should note, they never brought the curse effect back for any game going forward in any of the Souls games. I wonder why. And the checkpoints are just the most dickish shit possible. Like, I know that part of the whole Dark Souls thing is like, well, checkpoints are fairly rare, so that you have to go through all the enemies again and you learn their patterns and you get good, right? And I mean,
Yeah.
see, no. It ruins the momentum of a boss fight not being able to get in for a round 2. Like, the virtue of Souls is like, you learn the boss fights, you figure out what's good against them and all that. And that's a good feeling. That feeling is ruined if immediately after the fight, well, fuck, guess I need to trek through 10 miles of skeletons again before I can fight the boss. So, everything that I learned, I'm gonna forget by that time. And Bloodborne is not nearly as bad about that. Bloodborne has a lot of shortcuts. Like, there are a couple of boss fights in Bloodborne that are pretty bad about shortcuts. But those boss fights are either easy or have very obvious weaknesses. So it doesn't sting that bad.
I'm reminded of Lords of the Fallen, which, like, from what I remember, I don't remember much. Yeah,
Everyone's favorite Souls, you mean?
yeah. I played that game until the second boss or the third boss, I think. It might have been the first one, I don't actually know. But no, it was the second one, because the first one is, I think, the dragon. Well, I might be mixing it up with The Witcher, though. Anyway,
They're all the same.
yeah. Either way, there was this boss. I don't think I should even remember the boss. I just remember being pissed on installing the game after this, because from what I remember, the game actually doesn't have like Souls like checkpoint systems. It has like points where you walk past and it spawns you back there.
Okay.
So yeah, the closest checkpoint that the game set before this boss is on the other side of the level.
Oh,
And
that's
also
cool.
Yeah. So hope you had fun fighting all of those really fast wolves. Or whatever. It was something similar to those.
Would you believe that Dark Souls actually has it worse, where there are some levels that don't have checkpoints? That it takes you back
And
to another fucking level?
every small bit I hear more about Dark Souls, the less I want to do anything anything related to it.
I am beating the first Dark Souls out of a mix of spite and the fact that now, if I beat it, people's refuting argument can't just be, well, get good. Like, no, motherfucker, I got good and it still sucked.
That's why I beat Neo. Those are the same reasons I beat Neo.
Like, I like Bloodborne. I like Bloodborne a lot. Bloodborne's fucking great. But Souls is vastly inferior. I think people are nostalgic because Dark Souls is, for most people, the first Souls. People give it credit, like, for one thing, for the world design, which you can appreciate separate from the rest of the game. And the other thing people give it credit for is the fucking, it establishing the Souls fucking formula, which it didn't. Demon Souls did. And from what I've seen of Demon Souls is better than Dark Souls. Oh, man, watch this be the one video that people actually watch and shit on us. And like, no, it's fucking Dark Souls best. That and Witcher 3 are the best games of all time. I'm reciting Rick and Morty. I'm reciting Rick and Morty dialogue here.
Witcher Souls is my favorite game.
Oh, man, could you imagine a crossover of that? Like Reddit with
Okay,
cream.
So imagine this: the most ambitious crossover, freaking Marvel be damned. Witcher, Dark Souls, Rick and Morty.
Pink, how do you feel about this?
I'm not sure how to feel.
To be fair, you need a very high IQ to understand Dark Souls.
No, you need. Hang on. No, what you need is you need good moral. You need a very high sense of morals.
What you need is what you cut out.
Hang on. Don't interrupt me on this one. You need a very good sense of morals to appreciate Witcher. You need a very high IQ to understand Rick and Morty, and you need very good skills to understand Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So really, if you play this crossover, you will become the perfect man.
Yeah, yet for some reason, them Stacys will still go for the chance.
Yep. We truly do live in a society.
That's the proper insult terminology, is it?
That's another one. That's one that's good. I'm also a fan of "We live in a society" bottom text. Like the bottom text is what fucking kills me there.
I find bottom text memes to be unfunny.
Well, the funniness is that the guy fucking didn't care enough to actually put in the bottom text. Oh, man. Oh, God, I'm coughing up a lung here. Here's the thing. Dark Souls 1 actually isn't that difficult. That's part of it I want to mention as well. Because fucking all the bosses that I've run into so far, Bell Gargoyles took me 2 tries. Taurus Demon took me 1 try, but I won't count him because I fought him before. Let's see. Gaping Dragon, 1 try. Fucking Capra Demon. 3 tries, but the first 2 times were because Capra Demon will kill you on startup. Like, legitimately, as soon as you enter the door, Capra Demon kills you. Because that's Capra Demon, I guess. Yeah. Like, Capra Demon has got to be one of the worst fucking boss fights I've played in a long time. It is a big demon guy carrying 2 swords, and he has 2 dogs, and he fights you in a very, very small arena.
He also has two. He also has 2 very long dicks.
The swords do look like penises.
Like the thing is, the freaking like how you're describing this. It seems like this character seems like a freaking Oni plays like whatchamacallit, like a thought thing where they come up with shit that looks cool to like 5-year-olds.
Yeah, kind of. Capra Demon is definitely one of the laziest designs in the game. Because he's just a bull's head demon. Like, that's his design. He's a bull's head demon carrying 2 swords. And his entire structure is, it's a small arena, the dogs are very fast, the dogs have very high attack speeds. So the idea is just that they will run you down, they'll hit you, and the hit stun will cause you to eat hits from the Capra Demon. And that will insta-kill you. That's the entire structure of the boss fight. As soon as you kill the dogs, it's the dumbest shit ever. Because the Capra Demon, super tanky, and his attacks hit really hard. Also, the guy telegraphs like fucking mad. So it is you walking behind him, poking him, waiting for him to attack, walking behind him, poking him, again and again and again. He fucking sucks. The Moonlight Butterfly. That's the last boss fight that I just beat. The Moonlight Butterfly, let me tell you, is some dog shit. What is the worst? Let me ask you guys a question. What is the worst gameplay design for a boss fight?
Being unreactable and doing a shit ton of damage.
The ones where they have 10-minute long unskippable cutscenes before the fight.
Okay, well, Pink's kind of close in an odd way. Like, just having the boss fight deal high damage and be fast, like, that can be challenging, that can be fun in the right context.
By unreactable, I don't mean fast. By unreactable, I mean genuinely you can't actually, like, unless you know it's coming, you can't do anything about it.
What boss fight are you talking about?
I'm not talking about any boss fight in particular.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's the worst thing I can come up with.
Okay. But the Moonlight Butterfly, the worst kind of boss fight design there is. The fucking boss fights that the boss is invincible or untouchable while he does his string of attacks, and then just exposes himself after the string is done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Moonlight Butterfly is the worst example I've ever seen of that. Like, I thought the worst example was a boss fight in Devil May Cry 4. No, it's worse. Because it is a butterfly that is just, you are on a bridge, there's a butterfly floating near you. It floats out of reach so you can't hit it, and it just shoots lasers at you. And after like 6 or 7 lasers, it just lands on the bridge, on the side of the bridge, and does nothing. I mean, honest to God, it just latches onto the bridge and does fucking nothing. And sits there while you punch it in the face. And then after a designated amount of punches, it gets up and leaves and goes back to its loop of shooting lasers at you. It's the most egregious example to the point that, I can't tell what's worse about it. The fact that the boss fight is a fucking pain and a half to fight and it's just annoying and not fun. Or the fact that it makes no sense. Like, that is honest to God just swinging and then turn around and, like, bending over with a big sign on your ass, like, insert sword here. The fuck kind of boss fight design is this, you know?
It's cinematic, you just don't understand it.
It's the least cinematic boss fight in the game. It's just a flying butterfly and you're on a bridge. Like, there are lots of Souls boss fights that are really cinematic and cool. The fuck?
Something hidden meaning something freaking passing or whatever.
It's way out of theme and way out of tone with the rest of the game, too. There's nowhere else in the game where you'd be fighting fucking butterflies. Why am I fighting a giant butterfly? This shit doesn't make any sense. Like,
Well, I was imagining an actual life-size butterfly shooting lasers from its eyes.
just a tiny butterfly. It
Yeah,
has one hit point of health. You just once it comes down, you just swat it.
Yeah, it has one hit point of health, but if it hits you, it's an insta kill.
Ha! Yeah, that's pretty much the boss fight. Because he lands once and you're able to do 50% damage to him for as long as he sits there and lets you combo on him. So it's pretty much just fucking wait out the instant kill lasers and then kill him. It's a stupid fucking boss fight. Like, Dark Souls is easy, it's just fucking cheap. The primary difficulties are the lack of checkpoints, the occasional bullshit like the curse smoke, and fucking Blighttown. Pink, did you see me talk about Blighttown?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. So, an entire area of the game where you are walking on thin wooden bridges over an endless abyss, so if you get knocked over, you fall off and instantly die, regardless of your health amount. Tons of enemies. They come at you from unpredictable angles because the entire level's a maze. They all cause poison. Several ranged sniper enemies that instantly apply full poison if they hit you. And I did find out there is at least one checkpoint. Thank fucking Christ. I have not found it yet, but it exists. There is hope somewhere in the tunnel. And it's one of the only, 5 or 6 areas in the entire game that is mandatory. That is one thing I want to praise about Dark Souls, is that it immediately, as soon as you open up the game, you have the choice of 3 different sections to go through. Now, one of them is going to be harder than the others, that's for certain, but you can choose to go to whichever section you want, and you can structure the playthrough however you want. There's not really any, there's only 1 or 2 big funnel points in the gameplay structure. Otherwise, you can hit the bosses, you can hit the mandatory items in whatever order you wish. And that's really cool. I really like that. It's the Metroidvania stuff that I appreciate in Souls when it pops up. Which, to my understanding, this is actually one of the things they didn't bring back for later Souls games. Because Bloodborne's fairly linear, and to my understanding, Souls 2 and Souls 3 are both pretty linear. And Sekiro's got, a fully voiced cutscene story and everything, so it's definitely linear. So here's one of the cool things about Dark Souls, we're getting rid of it. Goodbye. Alright. But yeah, I also started Nioh. Hey! So Nioh is really fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm not going to go through it until I finish Dark Souls, because holy fuck, one new Souls-like at a time, please. Because otherwise, if I get shit mixed up, it's going to be a problem. This is a game. These are games that are really all about memorization, honestly. But Nioh's gameplay, a lot faster, a lot more impactful, a lot more options. In a Souls game, you pick up a weapon, you instantly have access to that weapon's full moveset. And it's generally speaking limited to, let's say 5 moves. 6 maybe. And that is not the case in Nioh. Because in Nioh, everything is just classed into 8 different classes of weapons. And they all share a general moveset pool that you upgrade through a skill tree over the course of the game. And you can unlock some pretty cool shit. There's also the stance system, which allows you to switch between a variety of further movesets. There are so many moves in the skill tree for this game that you actually go in and edit your moveset. Like what moves are attached to which buttons and so on. Which is not something you see outside of the WWE games, is it?
I think it's fairly limited in Neo though, because I think it's just if moves overlap, you can decide which move to use in a different stance.
Right, but there being enough moves to overlap is already in itself something of a statement. And I have to wonder like how vastly different they all are. Addy, did you ever try the katana style?
Yes, I didn't like it.
I can see that because it is kind of just balanced. But I really like it, and one of my favorite things is just kicking people to death.
I find it to be very poking, and I don't like poking, I like slashing.
Well, it depends on which stance you use.
Yeah, most people, like, I didn't use the katana enough to unlock most of its moves. The people that I fought who used katanas, mainly used mid stance and just poked. Which, good luck out poking my Nodachi.
Yeah, that's part of the thing you have to keep in mind with a game. Though I still think, like, low stance is pretty good for just dodging over the spears and then comboing their asses. But that's just the Bloodborne in me. One thing I find bizarre about Neo is the ranged weapons. They're so good. Like,
The hand cannon. The hand cannon. Just wait until you get to it. You
Okay.
you don't get a lot of ammo for it, but when you do, I'm pretty sure there was at least one boss that I just shot to death with a hand cannon.
Really?
Oh, Nue. Yeah, I
okay.
hated Nue so much.
Okay, that's interesting. Because as far as the game as I've got, like, it seems like the structure is, like, ranged weapons are fantastic for taking out individual regular enemies that you don't want to deal with, but they do shit damage to bosses. Which to me is a good way to structure it. Because you don't want people to just cheese out the bosses, but cheesing out just regular enemies is fine. Like, who cares?
Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't not cheese out the freaking bosses. Like the I think it's the Yuki-onna, but I might be mixing it up. Whatever. There's like this ice woman boss in Honnoji, and she's all arranged. like if you get close, then she can fight close range as well. But for the most part, she's all range. So good luck hitting her.
Oh, cowardly ranged bosses are the worst in Souls. Fucking Mikulish, I spent 2 weeks taking him on.
The thing is, she's also an ice elemental.
I assume that means she gets stuns.
You're getting you're roboting up pretty hard. So repeat that.
I assume that means she has stuns.
Yes. Well, not stop. I don't remember if she stuns you, but I do know that she slows you down, which doesn't sound that bad at first. But then she can also machine gun throw icicles at you, so you know that's when it becomes an issue. Because the icicles also home in on you.
All right, okay then.
So yeah, basically all of my ammo went onto that boss, and whatever I didn't use on her, I used on Nue.
Yeah, I see.
Because the thing with Nue is Nue has a lot of parts where it just stands, waiting for you to make a move so it can react. And so if you just shoot it in the head, then it still reacts, but if you're lucky, then it won't summon all of the lightning on your ass immediately.
I do have to mention one thing, like the vast structural difference here. The difference between open world Souls, go explore and find things to kill, versus Neo, which is here's a mission, go through a cave, kill the boss. Like, it immediately strikes me definitely as more so Neo being the Souls game for you. I don't know like how bad exploration is for you with open world games that are still structured.
Like exploration. My thing with exploration is that I need to find a reason that I want to go and explore. Like, you know, just being the thing that, oh, like there's this weapon here, or oh, well, you need to do it as a part of this mission. That's not that those I don't find those good reasons. I need to find my own reason to actually want to go through the map.
Well, can you give an example?
It's really like it's weird because the the best way I can put it is that if I spend enough time in the world and if I like the world, then chances are that I'll want to go through it. So, freaking Yakuza, I've been to most freaking most whatchamacallit, back alleys that you can go in, just because I like Kamurocho that much. I'm just that used to the layout. But like I can't just go into make a Minecraft world and go like, okay, I'm gonna freaking find an adventure now. Like I need to be familiar with the base surroundings, and I need to like what I see there to want to go deeper.
Okay, yeah, I think I get you.
So that's my thing about exploration. Is most of the time when people talk about exploration, they talk about what I call aimless wandering, which is just I'm gonna go through every square inch of this map, and I'm gonna find something to do for myself, which for me doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, it depends a lot on like what kind of stuff you can find. For me, like in Minecraft, I'm not terribly interested in Minecraft exploring because like it's green rolling hills. How many times do you need to see it? But in Bloodborne, I do get a kick out of it, partially for exploring the world, but for a lot of finding hidden weapons and in a couple cases hidden boss fights. That's real fucking weird. Like how many games hide entire boss fights from you?
None that I can think of.
I can think of a couple, but I don't know their freaking names.
Well, there's Kingdom
Oh, yeah.
Hearts. Kingdom Hearts has a couple hidden
Near.
ones. The first Nier or Nier Automata?
I think Automata.
Okay.
Because I seem to remember the freaking president of Sega being a boss in that game.
What?
Yeah.
Hang
The
on.
president of Sega. There's this like hidden boss fight on your like fourth playthrough or something that you need to like play the game perfectly to get to, where you fight you first fight the president of Platinum Games, and then he calls his tag assist, who is the president of Sega or something like that, and then you fight both of them at the same time.
Oh shit! I do remember hearing about this. I thought it was Vanquish, not Nier.
You thought it was what? You cut out.
I thought it was Vanquish, not Nier.
I feel like it was Nier, but it might have been something else.
Yeah. Huh. Alright, I think that's probably enough of Souls talk for poor Pink. You know what? I want to mention one more thing. One funny thing about Dark Souls 1, I'm spoiled on all the story, right? So here's the thing. There's one particular knight that shows up at the, like, kind of home base. And I'm aware that he later turns out to be an asshole. Here's the thing. Fucker sits next to a window.
Oh.
So it was a very amusing image, I gotta say. My character just walking up to this knight, who he has had no issues with, and just completely out of the fucking blue, kicking him. The great thing is, one kick isn't enough. The guy gets knocked back a bit, and the knight just legitimately goes, "What the fuck?" I slowly walk up to him, kick him again, and he plummets into the abyss. And I just got a fucking kick out of that. Especially considering I had to save him from prison first to do it. Welcome back. Get the fuck out. Alright. So nobody's got nothing to say. Fuck. It's happening.
What happened?
My brain. Somebody's do an outro.
All right.
Outro.
Bye, y'all.